Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to get you styled up with Stitch Fix. Shopping's hard. It's hard. With Stitch Fix, you get a stylist, though, who understands your style, your size, your budget, and they do all the shopping for you.
Wow.
This is excellent. Shopping, I'm telling you, shopping and figure out your style, it's overwhelming. Let somebody help you when it comes to getting dressed. We don't know what we're doing, so we let Stitch Fix help us out. A Stitch Fix stylist there. They know what works on us. We get the prices that make us look really good, and it feels good. You get some confidence boost walking around knowing that you're looking decent here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just give the stylist our sizes, style, budget preferences. We order boxes when we want, how we want, no subscription or any of that required. And they send called Just For Me pieces as well. Like, maybe you'd like this, and it's awesome. Outfit recommendations, styling tips. You keep what you love, you send back the rest. It's super easy.
Yep.
You can do it, and we are doing it because it's excellent. Personal styling for everyone. Get started today at stitchfix.com/STM. That's stitchfix.com/STM.
Now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you about Noom. Has Noom helped you? I believe it has.
Oh, that's got an app. You can do tracking. It's terrific.
It does. And Noom builds personal plans that can meet individual needs. That's the thing. Takes into account any dietary restrictions, medical issues, other personal needs. That helps build a plan that works for you. And yes, so I know that you've had your own personalized program here that you've been working on. And
it's weight loss This is weight loss results that last. They stick around because you get yourself into a lifestyle change. That's what matters.
That's mainly it. You can't just say, I'm going to cut that out for a month and then go back to it. That's not what it is. So I'm glad it's helping you. That's great. And it really does. I like the psychology and biology-based approach here. Yeah. Noom Weight uses psychology. That's why they say losing weight starts with your brain, but it also takes into account your unique biological factors, Jimmy. All of your multitude flora and fauna that goes on inside of you there.
Sure. Yeah.
Stay focused on what's important to you with Noom's psychology and biology-based approach. Sign up for your trial today at Noom.com, Noom.com here. Based on 3.5-year study of actively engaged Noom users with minimum starting BMI of 25. Individual results may vary. Visit our website for more information.
Welch's knows some things make zero sense, like why the algorithm knows your music tastes better than you do. But zero sugar and full flavor? We made that make sense with new Welch's Zero Sugar. All that passion fruit or tropical punch goodness and none of the sugar. You gotta sip it to get it. New Welch's Zero Sugar. Let's fruit stuff up.
This week in Westminster, Maryland, when a mild-mannered accountant meets a freewheeling bartender with a past, a strange bond is formed that leads to excitement, passion, and cold-blooded murder. Welcome to Small Town Murder. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Small Town Murder.
Yay!
Yay indeed, Jimmy. Yay indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Jimmie Whisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us today. Yeah. We are excited, as usual, for insanity, and we have it chock full of it today. Just a pot full. It's bubbling over, everybody. Quickly, before we get to that, thank you for everything you do for us. Your reviews help a lot. 5 stars, whatever app you're listening to on, whatever. It helps. So thanks a lot for doing that. Also, head over to shutupandgivememurder.com right now.
Oh, yeah.
Get everything. Get your merchandise, Murder Bird shirts, coloring books. We have it all up there, including tickets to live shows. Yes. Absolutely, live shows coming up. Next up, we're going to have New Orleans and Atlanta. Atlanta's been sold out for about 2.5 years.
Right.
But New Orleans, there are tickets left. Get your tickets to New Orleans. Yes. We are coming, so don't leave us alone in July in Louisiana. Be there for that.
The website showed it was sold out for some reason.
It's not. There was a glitch.
Link. It's not.
It's not. So get your tickets.
There's plenty of tickets. Get them. Let's go.
Let's do it.
Let's make a showing. I can't wait.
I cannot wait either. Absolutely. Also, head over to patreon.com/crimeandsports where you get all of your extra stuff.
Yeah.
Now, not only besides that, you're going to get, obviously, for free, Small Town Murder Express every Friday. That's a free show for everybody.
That's there.
But Patreon is what you want. By the way, listen to Crime and Sports on Tuesdays, please. Yeah. Check that out. It's crazy stuff. If you haven't listened to it yet and you're like, man, I don't like sports, you're going to like it. If you like us and the way we tell a story, trust us. We tell the craziest stories on that show that we wish you could hear. So please check out Crime and Sports.
And if you want to support the show, do that by listening to that show, because that one is the one that evidently TV people are interested in. So if you make that one successful, you might make your boys successful.
You might get more Small Town Murder stuff in different platforms or whatever. So check that out. But patreon.com/Crime and Sports is where you get the bonus material. We have everything on there. There's a back catalog, about 150 episodes plus. Yeah. Everything there. Every other week, you're going to get 2 episodes. You're going to get one for Crime and Sports, one for Small Town Murder, and for anybody $5 or above, you get access to all of that. Everything. This week, what we're going to talk about for Crime and Sports, we have the story of Doc Ellis, who is a pitcher who threw a no-hitter, which even if you don't know about baseball, that sounds impressive, right? Nobody got a hit off of him. Did that while tripping balls on acid. So that's a really fun story, and a few other things. He's an outspoken guy, and he's hilarious. We'll talk about Doc. And then also for Small Town Murder, we are going to talk about something that people keep asking us to do, so damn it, we have to do it. Conversations with a Killer, the John Wayne Gacy tapes.
Fantastic.
We're going to talk about that because it is a trip, and I've read a couple of books on Gacy, and we'll get some insight on exactly his talking. You get a lot. He's easy to read between the lines on, John Gacy. So we'll talk a lot about what's between the lines.
And the one with the Ted Bundy tapes was that the Ted Bundy tapes they used as an excuse to tell everything over again. This one is fantastic.
There's a lot.
So many more details.
In his own words. We'll get into that. That's patreon.com/Crime and Sports. And you'll get a shout out at the end of the show. Jimmie will mispronounce your name terribly while trying his best to read it properly. So that's a lot of fun. Do that and join us here. Also, the disclaimer, it's a comedy show, everybody. This is terrible murder will happen, and jokes will happen also beside them. That's what goes on. We're comedians. The stories are real. Unfortunately, all this crazy shit actually happened. So
it did.
We can do nothing to change that. All we can do is tell the story, and we're going to do that. What we don't do, we go out of our way not to do, is we don't make fun of the victims or the victims' families.
Why, James?
Because we're assholes.
But
we're not scumbags. That's how that works. So if that sounds good to you, welcome aboard. If you think true crime and comedy should never, ever go together, I don't know, maybe we're different kinds of people. Or maybe you just aren't. Give it a chance, but no complaining later. Put it that way.
There you go.
So that said, I think it's time, everybody, wherever you are, in your car, stuck in traffic, if you're maybe not on a plane, that'll freak people out, but in the gym, you're on the elliptical, right? Wherever you are, it's time to sit back, clear the lungs, and shout, Shut up
and give me murder.
Let's do this.
Let's go.
Let's go on a trip, Jimmie. All right. We are coming from Mississippi last week.
Boy, was that a story.
Dirty, dirty, dirty stuff down there. That was a gross, nasty story, man. I'll tell you something. This one is this is weird what we have today. There's some weird people and some fun stuff. We're going to Maryland, and it's been a while since we've been in Maryland. We're going to, it's Westminster, Maryland, but it takes place in Silver Run, which is like a small section of Westminster, basically. Okay. It's a little tiny area with, it's basically a neighborhood, for lack of a better term here. It's in northern Maryland, which Maryland is it's all a panhandle there. No matter where you are, you're in a panhandle in Maryland, I hate to tell you.
It's a funny shaped state. Yeah.
It's a weird, just the way it's shaped, you can't help it. It's about 45 minutes to Baltimore, about an hour, 10 minutes to Bethesda, Maryland, the other way, and about almost 2 hours to Easton, Maryland, which is our last Maryland episode 231, which was a classy, trashy murder mystery. That was classy, trashy murder. That was a good one, too. This is in Carroll County, area code 410. Motto here, where history meets tomorrow.
You're damn right it does.
In other words, we've kept all our old shit. We've improved nothing. Perfect.
One of the first states, so it makes sense.
It makes sense. Silver Run itself is like an unincorporated community in the middle of nowhere. Apparently, this whole area was Winchester before it was Westminster, apparently. Okay. William Winchester purchased 167 acres of land, and it became known as Winchester. And then later on, the Maryland General Assembly changed the name to Westminster to avoid confusion with Winchester, which was in nearby Virginia. So they were...
Winchester, Virginia.
Yeah.
They don't. Okay.
Pre-Google, it was hard to know what other towns were calling themselves. Unless anyone in town had been there, there was no way to know, really. They didn't really have a way to look it up. So, anyway, April 1865, Joseph Shaw, who was the newspaper editor in town, had his presses wrecked and business destroyed, and subsequently was beaten and stabbed to death by 4 men in Westminster.
What the fuck?
Well, apparently he was in Maryland and he was putting out some kind of Confederate propaganda in the papers.
Oh.
The guys got tired of it. And by April 1865, they were real sick of it. And apparently...
Stars and Bars Gazette got burned down?
Well, apparently he published an anti-Lincoln... It's not really his fault. He published an anti-Lincoln editorial, which freedom of the press, he has a right to do that, whatever he wants to do. Problem is, the next week he was assassinated.
Oh.
So if you have that from 5 days ago and then he's assassinated, people, shit gets touchy at that point, back then especially. Yeah. So the 4 men were actually acquitted in this trial, somehow on the grounds of self-defense, which is amazing. What? 4 men beat and stabbed a guy to death, and they got off on self-defense. That's
fascinating.
That is some amazing legal wrangling there. So 1868, they held a Memorial Day parade, which is the longest continuously running Memorial Day parade in the entire country.
Is that right?
Yes, it comes from this town. Very quickly, this was also this sounds familiar if you're older or if you're a political junkie with historical shit. This is the where they found the pumpkin papers, they're called. It was on a farm in Westminster. It has to do with it's a whole thing with the House Un-American Activities Committee in the 50s, and it was Alger Hiss. It was basically a personal vendetta from Nixon, but Hiss did the things that he was accused of, but nobody would have cared unless they were really. It's one of those things. It was one of those deals. Anyway, they found rolls of 35 millimeter film were wrapped in wax paper inside of a hollowed out pumpkin on a farm. That's why they're known as the pumpkin papers. So if you
why would you? What?
I mean, it's a good place to hide shit, I guess. They're just in a pumpkin, but
I guess they were there for somebody to pick up or something.
No, they were there to hide. So when they were searched by federal agents, maybe they wouldn't look in the pumpkins outside. Possibly.
Why don't you just burn it?
Because they wanted to keep it. It was shit they wanted.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They needed it.
Otherwise, you just burn it. Reviews of this town, quickly here. There's not a lot of reviews, and people seem to like it. Here is a 5-star review. Westminster is a nice little town where you can do anything that you could ever want. Well, I mean, you could do anything you want anywhere, really, if you think about it. You can play basketball, skateboard, or run out in town. Or you can play piano, mandolin, read, or study while at your cozy home. You can do that literally anywhere, except for North Korea. Those things are allowed to just about anywhere.
Who sits around going, I really wish I could play a mandolin today?
Well, this has nothing to do with the town. The fact that you can play musical instruments in your own home. There are so many possibilities to choose from each day. Well, yeah, life's a fucking cabaret, everybody. I don't know. What do you want? Great. This person is very excited about the small things. You will never have a dull day in Westminster! Exclamation point. It's wow. Oh. From the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep, you'll surely have many points of excitement along the way. Sounds like a commercial for like a resort or something.
Yeah, it feels very Truman Show.
Wow, the people are as nice as they can be. Playing basketball with complete strangers at the park is like playing with lifelong friends, and you'll never feel out of place. What the fuck? While in Westminster, you will have your family's home, but the town itself feels like a second home to all of us. If you're in the mood to dine out, then you have many choices. There are chain restaurants as well as many of Westminster's finest locally owned restaurants. Wow. That is wild.
This place is interesting as shit, man.
Wow, they made it
At least the people are passionate.
That guy's really passionate. 4 stars. Westminster could be better if the older people would stop trying to remove anything remotely fun in town. So there's that. 3 stars. This is the worst one. Westminster is a nice little town. It's old, so the people that live here are old and racist and blatant about it.
3 stars.
Unless you're playing basketball, then everybody gets along. There's a lot of junkies always on the streets at night also. Well, that doesn't sound great for a small town.
It's not a 3-star review.
Oh,
it's terrible.
It's only a nice town to the people that have lived here forever. I mean, it started out with it's a nice little town, and then it said it's a nice town only to those people. So, okay. Population.
Everybody's racist.
Everybody's racist, apparently. Population, 18,712. And they're blatant about it, not even holding back. 18,712 blatantly racist people apparently live here, according to that review. Male, female, few more females than males, but not too far off the national average. Median age is a little bit lower. It's about 33, which normally about 37. So the rate, all the kid ones are all high, above average. Basically up to 25. Ages 0 to 25. Yeah. There's a lot of younger people here. Less people are married. The people that are married have children. 23% have children but are single with children. So that's more than twice the national average. So if you're looking to find somebody, maybe those people are good. Race of this town, 77.3% white, 8.3% black, 3.3% Asian, and 7.4% Hispanic. So a little bit of everybody anyway. Religion in this town, about 43% are religious, and it's mixed up pretty good. Catholic has the most, but it's not too much of anything. Catholics are the Baptists of the Mid-Atlantic region.
Of New England.
Wait, this is not New England. This is the Mid-Atlantic region here.
Yeah.
Politics in Carroll County, last election, 36% voted Democrat, 60% Republican, 3.6% independent. So it's about double the average nationally there of independent voters. Here, the unemployment rate is a little bit above average, but nothing to go crazy about. The median household income here is just about the average also. It's $55,000. It's about $54,000 in the rest of the country. So very average town is the best way to put it. Cost of living, 100 is, average par. Here it's a 110. That's not even that high. Median home.
The housing in it.
Well, yeah, the housing is a little higher. Median home cost here, $373,200 bucks. Mm-hmm. But I mean, that's not even that much higher than the national average now.
Really?
Anymore. Yeah, that's pretty close. So if we've convinced you, damn it, you want to eat fresh blue crabs, we have for you the Westminster, Maryland Real Estate Report. All right, there's a good variety here to choose from.
I love it already.
Here's a 2-bedroom rental. Your average 2-bedroom rental is about $1,300 here, so it's right about the national average. Here we have a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, 896 square foot house. Don't know what it looks like inside because there are no pictures. Now, it looks like possibly there are no pictures because someone's afraid of falling debris, maybe a roof going in.
Go inside, yeah.
It doesn't look good. There's windows are boarded up with plywood, which is always a bad sign.
Yeah.
And there's some kind of rusty metal substance on the roof area. On the roof. I don't know if it's a roof, a metal roof. The roof doesn't look like it's holding much. It looks like if you went in there, you'd be in the living room in no time.
This is a bad place.
It's very, very odd. It's not a good house, but it's also $70,000. So
okay, there you go.
Maybe the land is worth something. I don't know.
Get some scaffolding and fix her up.
Yeah, and then we have kind of your average one here: 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2,095 square feet. So good size house.
Yeah.
It looks weird because it looks like a miniaturized piece of a Victorian house. That's what it's like. That's the design of it, but it's a smaller place than that. It's not bad. It's okay. There's like a separate garage out back. It's okay. It's kind of your average house, a little bit bigger. $364,000, which is right about the average price too. Then there's one. All right, you're doing well for yourself here. 4-bedroom, 5-bath, 4,655 square feet. Now we're talking T-ball for each and every b-hole right here, baby.
Some despair.
I cannot believe it's. Yeah, it's weird. It's not great is the thing. Really? When you look at it, I'm like, I'm not seeing what they're thinking here. It's got like a Silver Spoons train track, but not on the ground like Ricky Schroeder. Like
it's elevated
he's a little
and
kid.
runs through the house?
Well, like a bar.
Yeah.
Like a bar has
my dentist office.
Yeah. I did comedy in a bar once that had that going around.
Really?
Yeah, and if the comic was good, they'd give it like a choo-choo. It was very bad. So it was very strange. It's really needs an up. The whole house is fucking... Looks like it's from 1979, but it's really expensive still. $1,250,000 for that.
Holy shit.
It's going to cost you $500,000 to get it up to standards, though. I'll tell you something right now. Things to do in this town. Oh, baby. Here we go.
Here we go.
The 51st annual Old-Fashioned Corn Roast Festival.
Corn roast?
Let's roast some corn.
Not corn roast?
Not Corn Row Festival. Maybe that one's going on as well. We're going to roast corn and row corn at the same time.
And white people in braids.
Roast and rows, baby. Come enjoy an old-fashioned meal featuring corn roasted in the husk, served at your table. Meal ticket buys, serving of fried chicken, applesauce, sliced tomatoes, roll and butter, iced tea or lemonade, and all the roasted corn you can eat.
All you can eat?
All you can eat. People's poop is going to be 80% corn in this place. I swear to God. The whole... It's just kernels, honey. It just came out yeller and kernels. And I didn't even form couldn't even hold a log. It just fell apart.
Turned so studded you come when you shit.
Oh, it's amazing. It's the call it the French stubble corn. It's wonderful. It just gets you on the way out. It's good. It's some good corn.
You're going to have 2 cleanups in there.
Oh, a lot of cleanup going on here. Next up is the Peep Show at the Carroll Arts Council.
Oh.
Hot, right?
Yeah.
No, it's a show for marshmallow peeps.
What?
Yes. It's not that kind of.
How do you do a show with marshmallow peeps?
Well, let's explain it. Approximately 100 teams of 100 teams, Jimmy. There's hundreds of people working on this. Hundreds of people are making sure that there are peeps in different shapes. They're like the Edward Scissorhands of peeps.
So how do they do it? Are they melting them down?
They work year-round. This is their job, to make peeps, to create a marshmallow peep masterpiece made primarily out of the delicious Easter candy, which are displayed in the old Westminster Theater for thousands of patrons' viewing pleasure and the chance to be voted best of the best. You're the best around. The popular choices include a larger-than-life sugary versions of Belle from Beauty and the Beast, a Game of Thrones dragon, R2-D2, Edgar Allan Poe, the Rainbow Fish, and Paddington Bear.
I want to see this.
I mean, that sounds impressive, but I'm not leaving my house for it. I'd Google it and go, wow, that's a fucking huge marshmallow, and that's it. I'm not going to pay money and leave the house.
Yeah, I'd follow the Twitter account. Let's have a look-see.
I'm not going to be like, oh, where's the parking? Oh, shit, we got to get a good spot. Like, I'm not going and fighting
They
people.
could even take a picture of an actual stuffed Paddington Bear, and I'll just look at it and
that's
be like,
fine.
oh, that's made of peeps. No shit. All right, next one.
Pretty badass. And then there is the living history reenactment. That's another thing to do. They say, I'll quote from their site here, "It is the spring of 1865, and the war has reached a crucial point. General Ulysses S. Grant and the Union have caught General Robert E. Lee and the Confederates near Petersburg, Virginia. Both armies have dug extensive field fortifications around the city. The battle rages until Lee is trapped and forced to surrender at Appomattox Courthouse. After 4 long years, the war is over. Food is available for purchase at the event. $10 per family, $5 per adult, $4 per senior, 60 and over." It goes, literally, there isn't even a paragraph break. It goes, the war is over. Food is available for purchase at the event. Not even like a next line down. It's just right in line with it. So there's what your things to do are. That said, I think let's talk about a murder, Jimmy. What do you say? Let's get into
the crime
this.
rates in this town, James?
The crime rate is what we're into here. The crime rate. Oh, yeah, the crime rate. I forgot about the crime rate. How the hell did I forget about the crime rate?
Why do I know the format so
Jesus Christ. Property crime is actually a little bit low here, which is kind of to be expected. It's just kind of a quiet town, except for all those junkies I hear about by those reviews. And then
criminal to be racist yet.
Apparently not. Violent crime, murder, rape, robbery, and, of course, assault is just slightly under the national average as well. So it's skewing safe in this town.
Pretty safe, yeah.
Skewing safe.
With that said, James,
let us talk about a murder.
Let's do it.
And we're going to it a little bit early today because it is a thick story. It's just so crazy that you don't want to leave out details in this story. It's one of those stories that every detail is crazier than the last one, and you have to build a pyramid of shit here, and we're going to do it. Let's get into this. Let us go back in time. Our story is going to take place in 1979. That's where the bulk of our story is going to take, which is a wonderful time for murder in this country. It really is. Yeah. It was just the way everybody's dressed with the floppy hair and it's a lot. There's a lot of brown and avocado and that weird
there's some orange,
that golden sun. What's that yellow?
Gold?
That Harvest Gold. There you go. Harvest Gold is what I'm looking for. Harvest Gold,
avocado green, pink refrigerators, James. Pink.
It makes you want to murder. Put it that way.
Does.
Pink sinks in your bathrooms, pink bathtubs and shit. Anybody living in that at some point, without even knowing it, could snap and kill everybody.
How can you count on yourself?
Your whole family wiped out in one thing. Just it's so much green and just losing your mind while you lose it. So anyway, we're going to go back then. Let's talk about a guy here. First of all, Robert Lee Myers. Let us discuss here. Okay, Robert Lee, Bobby Lee here.
Yeah.
Robert, a lot of Southern guys named Robert and have Lee as their middle name.
They do.
It's very, very common there.
A little brave.
So Bobby Lee here, Bobby Lee Myers. He is born in 1941, Bobby Lee. So right kind of as we were getting involved in World War II. In 1963, he gets married pretty early on, around 20 he gets married. By 1963, he has a daughter. Now, I think he has a couple other kids around here, but I know about the daughter. The daughter's name is Shelley. She says, quote, "It was a happy childhood until I was 12. And then she said things started to get shitty when she was 12 here between her parents. Her dad, by the way, Bobby Lee Bobby is a successful accountant, very successful. He has his own business. He's
killing it.
He's a millionaire in the 70s.
Is that right?
Which is that's a big deal. In the 70s, it's still a shitload of money now, but back then people go, a millionaire, holy shit, they're set for life, So does very well, has real estate, owns a trailer park, owns a motel. He knows how to be wealthy and cash in on people who aren't. And he's got that part down.
And hang on to it.
Yeah, he's an accountant, so he's good with his money. So anyway, Shelley, the daughter, said that things kind of started to unravel here in her childhood. Her mom and dad broke up. Bobby breaks up with this wife, and she wanted to stay with her dad because he was nicer to her, she said. And she said, quote, he'd do anything to keep his wife happy to avoid trouble in the family. She called him gentle and pliable.
Yeah.
She said he's just kind of go with the flow kind of a guy.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of that kind of cat. But she said that it was a weird thing because at first they got separated and everything was kind of fine. And she said that her mom, she ended up living with her mom, and her dad said she wouldn't challenge that. And, she'd visit him all the time. But after a little bit of going on here, she ended up when she'd come visit him, she'd stay with a friend. She wouldn't even visit him. Like she wouldn't stay at his house anymore.
Okay.
Even when she was a teenager, because he married another woman, Bobby does, and they don't quite get along, Shelley and the new wife. The new wife is Mary Ruth, and they call her Mary Ruth all the time.
Is that right?
Which, I don't know, it seems excessive. It really does. You can do it if your name's like Joe Bob, because that's 2 syllables. So, pop. It's right. Pop, bang. But if your name is
Mary Jane, we call her Mary Jane.
Mary Jane. I don't know why Mary Jane is easier than Mary Ruth, but the E and the R are hard to, Mary Jane seems to flow out of your mouth the way words come.
You got to reposition your mouth to get to Ruth because you've already gone past the R.
Exactly. It's in some languages, like in Italian, I think it's probably in Spanish too, but like in Italian, a lot of the reason why there's vowels on the end is because they're easier to flow into another word that way.
Yeah.
It's easier, like a hard end is hard you got to start over. Yeah. So they've literally engineered their language so they can talk faster. That's how they've worked. So they worked it out. If you hear Italians talking fast, they've worked it out. So all these words just go together. They flow. There's no stops and starts and any of that shit.
Did the same thing with their cars, those bastards.
Yeah, that's it. It's got to flow together.
Make them fast.
Make them fast. Yeah. So anyway, this is going on here, and Mary Ruth Myers, she is now. She becomes his wife. And Shelley says, quote, "We just didn't hit it off. I think she didn't like sharing his time with me."
Okay.
So, this happens sometimes.
Does Mary Ruth have kids?
Yeah, she does. She has plenty of. She's got plenty of her own, as we'll talk about. So, yeah, that's another thing.
Well, what the fuck, Mary Ruth?
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Because they end up moving in with her, and she wants it to be that's the family, apparently, according to Shelley anyway. That Mary Ruth wants that to be the family, and kind of Shelley is old life for him that she. Like that according, and who knows, this is the other thing when you're a kid, because we've been in this situation. You a lot of times you feel like you're not welcome, but that might be in your head.
Right.
That's
your perception does not make that reality.
Exactly. I've come to the realization of that as I got older, that a lot of the things like that with my family, maybe it was in my head that I felt that way, but it wasn't actually like that. So anyway.
I thought that too, and then my stepfather used to beat me, and it basically reminded me, no, he doesn't like me.
Yeah, it doesn't like you. See, there's a difference between, that's a weird thing with attention, though, because, for some reason in my fucked up brain, I would at least take that as like, oh, well, at least he's including me in something, which is obviously a terrible way to think, but that would be in my brain, that's what I'd be like, all right, well, at least I'm not, like out.
Yeah.
At least they're not ignoring me.
At least I'm bruised, too.
We need attention, I am a comedian, so we do need a certain amount of attention. My dad sent me, I sent this to you, and I'll tell her, my dad sent me, he found a report card from first grade for me. And in it, like one of the first things is, James expresses himself well to a group of people, which apparently isn't normal for a 6-year-old. That was like something that needed to be like told. Like, I don't know what it is, but he'll get up and talk to everybody. It's fucking weird. He'll just get people's attention and make a speech.
First grade, he's in control of this. All right.
Very strange. Yeah, I was like, wow. So I was insecure and also insecure, needed attention, and looking for a group to talk to. That's could have mapped my life out right away.
I feel like we're looking at a very young George Carlin, perhaps.
But worse, but not as good. Get this kid a sport coat or something. He needs to be out there.
Calm him
down.
In
the 80s, yeah.
Teach him golf, maybe?
I don't know. He needs something. He needs to concentrate.
Badminton.
Fucking ridiculous. So, anyway, he's married to Ruth, and Shelley is not really liking it, and she kind of comes less and less over the years, and you'll hear less and less from Shelley as the story goes on.
No.
Yeah, well, she becomes like a teenager too, and gets her own life, and
squeezed out of the house is the reason that she went and did her own thing. So, and that's fucked up.
When you're 16, 17, and you feel that, you might just kind of edge away from it. You know what I mean? Just like, well, don't need that, I guess, right now.
If it's not important to you, it's great. But if it's like, if you desire it and want it, that's fucked up. You know what I mean? But who knows? She may have loved this part.
We don't know. And also, Mary Ruth, by the way, I'm just going to call her Mary. Mary Ruth is a lot. Yeah. It's a mouthful.
It's too much. Yeah.
Mary, it's a lot to say. No offense to Mary Ruth, but Mary is not a bad person either. Like, she's not known as a terrible person. Everybody well-liked, well-respected person. Mm-hmm. She's also jumps right in and helps him with his business.
All right.
She's not just like sit back and, I'm going to spend money or anything like that. No, she helps him expand his accounting practice, and they're a team. They really are a team. So I don't know, like we said, if they were a team and she just didn't want Shelley to be a part of it, or if, like a lot of kids, that might have been something she felt that might not have been real. Who knows? Yeah. So... Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about the safest sponsor ever, Simply Safe. Absolutely, these people will keep you safe. It's amazing. You know that every 26 seconds a burglary takes place in the United States, according to the FBI. That means that by the time this podcast is over, dozens and dozens of homes will have been targeted, ransacked, God knows what happens here. So protect your home before it's too late with Simply Safe proactive security system. Simply Safe helps stop threats before they even have a chance to break in. Named Best Home Security System by U.S. News & World Report 5 years in a row. And by us for about the last 8 years as well. If you trust us, Believe me, you want Simply Safe. So visit simplysafe.com/small to claim 50% off a new system with professional monitoring plan and your first month free. That's simplysafe.com/small. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Now back to the show.
This show, Small Town Murder, is brought to you by BetterHelp. Get yourself some therapy, everybody. Honestly, here. We often hear about, red flags that you should avoid. Hey, that's a lot of a thing. It's become a real phrase now, real cliche. But why don't you focus also, you look at green flags in friends and partners. Look for good things as well. Right. And maybe you're not sure what that looks like, though. Therapy can help you figure that out. What are positive things? What are the green flags? And then you can practice them in your relationship. It's absolutely a fact. And so, honestly, we absolutely are huge advocates for this. It really, really helps. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable. It's convenient. They serve over 5 million people worldwide. You can access a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists, wide ranges of specialties there. Here's the coolest part. You're not getting along with your therapist, you're just not feeling it, you can switch at any time, no extra charge.
Wow.
The thing is, they want you to get help. That's it. And you can do it with BetterHelp. Discover your relationship green flags with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/smalltownmurder today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
She, though, has 4 children from a previous marriage that she brings into this relationship. Yeah. So that's a lot. Everybody said she's a good mother. She's the kids are always put together and clean, and she keeps a nice house and, does all of her shit. Things that in the 70s people would have been like, well, does she keep a good house? All of the outside things that you would look at. Mary seems like a hell of a nice person here. She's about 5 years older than Bobby. Mary is. Yeah, she's a few years older. She's born in 1936. So she's a few years older. Yeah. They run Maryland Business Services. That's the name of their business. It's an accounting business that they do very well apparently here. So by the late 70s, I'll give you a snapshot of their life and kind of what's going on here. By the late 70s, they have they've been married for almost 10 years by this point, 7-8 years. They have 2 children of their own by now as well.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, a lot of kids involved here.
Stop it.
Stop reproducing, the 2 of you.
They have 7 between the 2 of them?
And at least 7. I don't know if Shelley's his only kid from a previous marriage. Yeah, she's just the only one I found talking about this whole thing. So, I mean, at least 7 kids are a result of these 2. And that's not all of them either. There'll be more later. So, they're quite the prodigiously reproducing couple here. So they've been married about that long. They live in a really big, really expensive house, by the way.
You have to, yeah.
Huge. They live on a Turkey Foot Run in Silver Run.
Jesus.
The way it's described at this point is in an article it's a rural community of about 100 families, Silver Run. So when it's described not 100 households, 100 families, that tells you those are rich people.
You betcha. Yeah.
Those are 100 households, could be anybody. That's who gives a shit. 100 families these are all intact, well-doing families where they take very nice Christmas pictures and send them to all of their family on Christmas, and it gets there 3 days before Christmas because they're on top of their shit. That's a family. 100 families.
With a letter that describes and sums up this entire past year.
All of the success of their children, what private schools they've gotten into, and awards they've received, and accomplishments, and all this shit.
My grandparents got a text about everything positive in my life.
Oh, God.
Both things.
My kids are still alive. Merry Christmas.
Yes.
Kids are alive. We're doing well. They haven't died from the smallpox, so we think we're doing well so far.
No cholera in this house.
Nope, we've done well. No dysentery. Any of these Oregon Trail diseases, we've kept them clear of, and they've been fine here. So, this house it's a huge fucking house on 21 acres of land, by the way.
Jesus.
Yeah, they have a 21-acre plot with a huge giant house. Only 14 of it they can have fun on because 7 of the acres are used as a vineyard.
Holy fuck.
These people have a 7-acre vineyard in their house, in their yard. Imagine that. Well, you know what kind of upkeep a 7-acre vineyard takes? You got to have some people walking around looking at that. You can't just go water that on the weekends and go back in your house. You know what I mean? That's
so much work.
That's a lot of work right there. So that means they have a lot of people on the payroll doing shit around their house and working.
Sure.
And
they got a head groundskeeper. Can you imagine?
They got it. They have to have one. They have to have a vineyard master too. Like that's a special thing, growing grapes. If you actually want to use them for wine, that's a very specific thing. There's only a certain amount of people that know how to do that. To grow fucking wine grapes the right way. Yeah. So they moved into this house about 1978, late 77, early 78. They move into this house. It was at the highest point on a hill in Silver Run that overlooked everything else.
They've got a fucking summit?
They got the summit, 21 acres, 7-acre vineyard, giant house overlooking all the other houses. All these houses have horse farms on them and shit. This is like, wow. This is a ridiculous neighborhood. I don't even know. I don't even know if I've ever been in a neighborhood like this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't even put it into perspective because I don't think I've ever been here to a place like this. I really haven't.
He lives like a king looking out over his kingdom.
Incredible. Over his kingdom, the whole fucking fiefdom here. So he's doing insanely well, basically. And all these houses in here are expensive. There's no like shit side of Silver Run. It's all nice, basically. Oh. It's like I said, I've never been to a place like this. It sounds idyllic and great. It sounds great, but it also smells like people would complain when they smell weed.
Yeah. You know what else it sounds like? It sounds like a lot of stress.
A lot. You got to keep it up. But these people just pay people to keep it all up, and then they're like, who cares, I guess. But still, you have to. Yeah, but again, it's a lot to keep going.
Revisiting the rest of my psychiatric fucking nightmare that I live, that sounds like so much stress of what if it all goes away. I don't want to watch.
But it doesn't go away as an accountant. That's the point.
I guess, yeah.
What goes away?
I'm so frightened to lose everything.
But in what way?
I don't know.
Like if you're an accountant who owns an accounting business, unless you're doing something illegal that you're going to go into prison for, there's no way to have it go away. You just go to work every day and you keep fucking making money. It's crazy.
I guess the vineyard just keeps growing.
I guess you just keep buying more. It's wild. Yeah. For this guy, everything's great.
Awesome.
They describe, all the neighbors say that they're workaholics because they're just running this business, which with that many kids, I don't know how the fuck anybody would be a workaholic. You'd be,
right.
That's so many kids.
How do you have anything more than 40 hours?
No shit. Mary Ruth is described as tall, slender, and attractive, and blonde, and a neat dresser as well. So she's like a real put-together rich lady is what she is.
Yeah, he's doing very well.
He's doing pretty well here. And he's kind of pudgy, not really.
Hell
not traditionally a handsome, attractive man, put it that way.
All right.
But he does well to himself here. No. He's a little...
He's bigger than me?
He's doughy. You're not fat. You just have a belly. You're not fat. You're not like a big fat guy. He's just...
I've got...
You know what I mean?
I would be if my legs were proportioned to anything on me. I have the chickenest legs on earth, and then I have all this shit above. I look bizarre nude. You
don't have like a weird, like big fat, like triple chin or anything like that. Like some guys have. Some guys have those jowls and shit.
The
like
extra piece.
He's kind of got a little bit of jowl action going on, which is that's a separate issue. You know, you don't even have to be a big fat guy to have jowl action going on. Just some guys are built that way. But either way, she's doing well. Mary's driving around a brand new silver Lincoln Continental. Oh, yeah. Doing fucking...
In the 70s? Hell yeah.
Killing
That's a cool car.
It's a boat, man. That thing is a boat. That is not giving a fuck about gas prices back then or anything else.
It's a big bastard.
Big bastard. He also ended up having a new Lincoln as well. So everybody's doing so well. Problem is, from the outside, looking great. Everybody looks like, what an idyllic fucking marriage this is. It's all going well. They're building this business. Also, the marriage, behind closed doors, they're fighting like a motherfucker all the time.
All right.
Apparently, they're very spiteful to each other. It's back and forth. There's no physical violence or anything, but there's just very kind of bitchy back and forth. The nitpicky, the both of them, and they're just both. they shouldn't be together after a while. It's like, this just isn't working.
Petty war when the doors close.
Yeah, it's bad stuff.
Hell yeah.
Everybody, both their friends, this is a weird thing. They both said they use sex as a weapon for control.
Hate that so much.
Yeah, I don't know from what side that's coming from, or just both of them, or what, but either way.
She's withholding it when they do have sex. He does it in a torturous, shitty way, something like that.
I have no idea. We don't know, but that
are they both withholding it?
That's how do you like one time she's withholding it, then the next thing you know she wants it, and he's like, no. Can't have it now. Like, what are they doing? I don't understand
Time's
how this works. Or I don't know if it's just one of them or both of them or what. It's just described as sex is used as a weapon for control in the relationship. So
I hate that.
Yeah, no, that's gross either way. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants to have their it's
hate her all you want. Go down on her and shut her up. Same with you know what I mean? It's not. You can't do that to people.
Unless she doesn't want you to go down on her.
Right. Yeah. Good point.
You said it like, pin her down and fucking eat her pussy. What are you doing? What's wrong with you? Get in there, soldier. Come on. Like, hey, well, let's see if the gate's open first before we come knocking at the door.
Through Oliver, please stop. Do not.
Let's make sure everything's voluntary. We're going to put an umbrella over this in a voluntary way. So Bobby is known as like an honest man in business. He never has nobody ever accuses him of embezzlement or anything like that, which, I mean, accountants, there's a lot of room to fuck with people. So
true.
An honest accountant is saying something. They said that he's also a jovial, outgoing guy. One of his friends described him as a top man, very honest and very reliable. It's one of his friends and clients. And one of his friends described him as a mild, timid type person as well. So kind of getting an idea of Bobby.
Yeah.
In business, he does well at his desk with the accounting, makes his money, kind of gets pushed around here and there in life. Yeah. Seems like Mary is the more assertive of the two in the marriage as far as she's more confident and seems to be...
Yeah, sometimes you got to put up with some shit to get the hot chick. Yeah.
They're equally smart, it seems like. They're equally driven in terms of business-wise and all that. Sure. If it wasn't for the weird using sex as a weapon thing, they'd probably be a good couple.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know what all the other things are. But mild and timid, that's what some people describe him as. And then some people have a different thing to say about him. Here is something from Mary's daughter. Her name is Dana Abbott. Her boyfriend at the time was named Melvin Ray Keith Jr. You can jumble those up and throw them out like dice in any which way and it'd be fine. Keith Ray Melvin. Okay.
Yeah.
Ray Melvin Keith. Great. Keith Melvin Ray. All right. I'll take them all.
The same name. Yeah.
It all works. It's fucking amazing. Any combination. Melvin Ray Keith Jr. Wow. It's a lot. I would never use the junior. I don't need any more names. This is a lot of names. So he dated Dana Abbott here, like I said, who was Mary's daughter, from 1976 through 1979. So he gets a pretty good sample size of what's going on here. He said that one night he had an argument with Dana, where Bobby had an argument, not Melvin Ray Keith Ray, Melvin Ray Keith. Actually, Myers here, Bobby Myers had an argument with Dana, and apparently during this argument, he put his hands around her neck and choked her.
Oh, you can't do that.
You can't choke your kids, and you really can't choke other people's kids. That's even worse than choking your own kids. It's terrible. Apparently, she had a red mark around her neck and visible
vicious strangling. Yeah.
Visible signs of this here. So yeah, there's kind of one of those. I guess he didn't want. From what they say, the kids say that they felt like he didn't want them around. So everybody's kids feels like the other one doesn't want them around, kind of a thing. But they live in the house, so I don't, can't really help that. They're going to be there.
But if they're not his real kids, so they have some sort of not really an attachment, and they feel that he feels the same way.
Exactly. He told one of the kids that he quote had to put up with them as long as Mary Ruth was alive.
There you go. So he confirmed it.
He said "put up with" is a very telling phrase, I believe, right? Put up with is very specific. Not even deal with is another thing completely.
You could have some doubts about the warmth in the house, and when somebody says "put up with you," "endure," any of those types of words, that really lets you know that they're they're not loving you.
Anything that denotes attrition is going to be bad. You know what I'm saying? Like anything that says that is terrible. Yeah. That's all bad. You know,
you got to give some ground, and you're the ground.
Yeah. Even if he said, I got to deal with you, that's even like dealing with is better than putting up with, you know?
Yeah.
Dealing goes back and forth. It's a conversation. Putting up with is...
Right. Putting up with is just giving.
I have to just keep from punching you this entire time. That's what putting up with is. That's fucking terrible.
I acquiesce every day, you in my house, just to fuck your mom. That's what that means.
And now can't even do that sometimes.
Right. Sometimes she keeps it from me.
And sometimes
and then you're still here.
Yep, that might be what's going on. So
Jesus.
April of 1979, you kind of get an idea what's going on. They're living in this giant mansion where there's unhappiness on the inside of it, but on the outside of it, it's sparkling, and the wine is good, and the grapes are growing, and the business is thriving, and
nobody has any idea he's getting no pussy, and everybody's eating his Lucky Charms. This is
everybody's eating. He's like, you ate the last of the milk. I need fiber. What is it, 79? He's like, I bought these grape nuts and I'm going to eat them. I bought these little
rocks. A try.
I bought a box of tiny rocks and I'm going to eat them.
Where's my box of gravel? God damn it.
My grandfather ate gravel sometimes. He had a box of gravel. Yeah. If you were born like pre-1955, you ate grape nuts at some point, I feel like. This is the way it was.
I tried them once because we were out and I was like, nope, I'll never do that again.
As a kid, I tried my grandfather's. And the funny thing is when you put the milk in, nothing really happens. It just kind of fills up like gravel. It doesn't like, normally you put milk in and the whole cereal level rises and it all puffs up.
Not grape nuts.
You just put it in there and you're like, oh, I guess you just swish it around now. It's like uncooked oatmeal for a while.
And it never softens.
No, God, no. Then you put it in your mouth and you're just like... This is why all my gums are bleeding, but besides that, these are very healthy. I like how healthy it is that when my gums bleed. It's like a letting, you know what I mean? It's like leeches.
How much did you pay for this larger sized grain sand? Jesus Christ.
Well, what's it taste like? Oh, nothing. Nothing at all. Mainly blood. Grape nuts. Tastes like your own blood.
Enjoy the sounds of your teeth breaking.
Is that a piece of grape nut is that a piece of grape nut or my filling? What is that floating around in my mouth? They're the same consistency. I can't tell.
I hope my body breaks this down because the milk in my chewing sure didn't.
Well, when you take a shit, it sounds like a machine gun in a cartoon. It's just ring. What happened?
I hope my body doesn't just make a long log of fucking concrete out of this.
It'll never come out. Never. You got to take like bites of salad in between bites of grape nut to keep like the layers. So it doesn't clump up into a big stone log. You have to really
space in there. Stagger it.
We've had a lot of shit talk today for a small town murder episode. This is the most shit talk we've ever had.
A lot of jump.
Shit talk with James and Jimmie. Here we are, everybody.
Corn and grape nuts will do that.
Yeah,
though,
well, that's true.
How else do you talk about
I think it's warranted. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying we did the wrong thing. It's all warranted. Yeah. So, April 1979.
Yeah.
He goes into a place called John O's, which is a restaurant, bar, lounge kind of a place. You know, your typical kind of a dive bar, I guess you could call it.
Where you go to forget.
Yes, it's where you go to forget, where hopefully nobody knows your name or won't remember it tomorrow, either way. So it's in Westminster, and while he's there, he meets himself a friend. He meets the bartender here, a waitress she's working at here as well. Bartender, waitress / whatever. Server, bartender.
She takes care of everybody in here.
It's a small place, you know what I mean. Her name is Ernestine. Tina, she goes by.
Yeah, I would too.
Yeah, Ernest, like they just named her after her grandfather.
Yeah.
Well, name her Ernestine. Like, fuck. So Tina. Now, Tina, she's going by Tina Gillen is what she's calling herself now. That's how she introduces herself. Her full name is Ernestine Lane Butcher Bodderton Gillen Marco.
Are those all the last names she used to have?
Those are 4 married names and her maiden name of Lane.
Oh, my God.
Butcher, Bodderton, Gill, and Marco are her married names. So
she's a lot of fun.
She's 29, by the way. She has been married.
Holy shit.
She has 4 completed and over with marriages by 29. That's a lot.
Ernie. Yeah.
That is a lot of
Big
fucking...
Ern. Calm down.
Big Ern has got... Wow.
Yeah.
Big Ern. So Big Ern.
Slow down, dude.
Slow your rolls. Wow. 29. We're just, hey, we get it. 4 times happens, but by 29, maybe don't even get married at all by 29. Is what we're saying.
Ever again, for sure.
Yeah. Nowadays, people be at 29. All right, maybe I'm about time, but not 4 times by then.
No.
But back then, it was a different thing. So April of 1979, when he meets her, she is living in a boarding house / motel.
Oh, boy.
Working at this bar out here. And Maryland Department of... what is it? Services, the DSS. It's the family, people who take your kids away if you're not taking care of them, are threatening to take her 2 children away and place them in foster care at this point.
Oh, boy.
Because she's living in a shitty boarding house and barely keeping it together with a waitress / bartender job at a place that she doesn't make a lot of money. So she's having a rough go of it, obviously.
She sure has,
yeah, she was, her last marriage ended. Her last marriage, the guy's a mechanic in Florida. Right. And she is coming from Las Vegas. She just got here from Las Vegas, got a job, and is staying at this joint.
Transplant to Maryland from Las Vegas.
From Las Vegas, and we'll talk about that. She's got a mixed bag in her past. Put it that way. Her son later on would say that she used to say about herself. This is a quote. Boy. This is a quote of her, Tina on Tina. Okay. Mm-hmm. Tina on Tina, that she, quote, I got to count them. How many of these? Quote, lied a whole lot. That's 5. That's 5 lies. Lied, yeah. A whole lot. That's how her son describing herself. Yeah. Which, I mean, you got 2 kids and you're hustling and you're trying to make it go of it with the boarding house and everything. You might have to lie some and hustle just to get your fucking food in your kids' mouths. So I get it.
Sure.
But she's been troubled since youth. I mean, she has a juvenile record, criminal record for theft. She did prison time in California.
Oh my!
I don't know how she has time to get married 4 times. She has, for a credit card scam that she was running in California, she did actual prison time for that. Wow. And then she was also arrested for being a prostitute in California as well, for prostitution. Sure. Yeah. And she apparently lied and had it come out in court during these occasions, lied on several occasions to social welfare agencies regarding her domestic and financial affairs as well. So she I know she was charged with welfare fraud at one point as well. So
okay.
Yeah, Tina is she's hanging on by a thread, man. She's
doing her best to succeed and survive.
She's doing her best to survive right now. That's
she's going really far.
She's got to hustle to survive. She doesn't have any education. She's got no background in it all. She can get a job. She knows how to wait tables. She knows how to tend bars. She can always get a job doing that, which is thank fuck for that for a lot of people. You know what I mean? I've been in that situation where if it wasn't for waiting tables, I'd have been in deep shit because that was how you could make some decent money and, still have my day off to take care of my kid because that's what I was doing at the time. You know, it's hard. So anyway, she's been a lot of interaction with police and agencies and all that kind of shit. Jail is
fresh start in Maryland now.
Trying to make a fresh start. One lady, a woman named Linda Hill, said that Tina once threatened her in a dispute over the sale of a car. There was some sort of dispute. I don't know who sold it, who bought it, whatever the dispute was. Tina told her that if we don't settle this right here in a favorable way to me, I, quote, have some friends in the mafia, she told her.
Tina.
Oh, yeah. And that's right. And she said, Tina asked this Linda Hill if she ever read the papers in California and then said, quote, I don't play games. I have a lot of friends. So
holy shit.
I don't know if she's trying to claim that whatever, like, what is this? The Hillside Stranglers are her work. I don't know if she's trying to say those are all the women that crossed me. No, even the 14-year-old girls, they crossed me.
Yeah.
I'm not taking that shit.
She sold me skates.
Yeah, I'm not doing it. Holy shit. I don't know what the fuck she's talking about, but one of her husbands, Clarence Bodderton, he was he sounds like a very reputable man. Quote, a bail bondsman and her pimp. That's how they met. How'd you meet? Well, it's a lovely story. She used me as a bail bondsman, and then I said, "Oh, you're a very lovely young lady. How about I take on your action?
Yeah,
and then we'll be together. We'll get married, and then if you ever get arrested, I can just bail you right out. It's the perfect marriage." Like, what a scumbag!
Very cyclical marriage.
What a bail bondsman pimp, scum of the earth. This guy is.
I'll be your hero all day. I'll get you dates, and then when you're caught on those dates, I'll get you out and get you more dates.
It's going to be perfect. I got you covered. Well, in early 1979 in California, he is murdered in a pipe bombing. So
oh my God!
He's murdered by a pipe bomb.
That's the first time I've ever heard that.
Well, I've heard of it in, like, the mafia,
Yeah.
Fucking, they tried to blow up John Gotti's car with a pipe bomb, and they killed the other guy with a pipe bomb, but...
The Unabomber did it, but, like,
not normal
dudes? No.
Just a bail bond. But then again, if you're a bail bondsman, you could have a lot of people angry at you. I mean, there's people...
Every day, yeah.
If you revoke someone...
For sure.
You're dealing with criminals.
Right.
If
exactly.
you pull bond on someone,
people. Yeah,
and they have some friends, you never know how this could happen. But either way, he's a guy that is definitely in the estuary of legality and criminal behavior, being a bail bondsman pimp, and he's murdered with a pipe bomb.
Waiting in it.
So this is what I'm saying. Tina has had an interesting, colorful life, to say the least. She is...
She's picked some fascinating people to be around.
She's somebody that if you sat down and got her life story, that's worth the price of admission. Just get her whole life story and be like, whoa, that is harrowing. Holy shit. So anyway, Bobby Myers eats there frequently over the next month or so and gets to know Tina. He's talking to Tina, yapping whether they become very friendly. He continues to eat there to talk to Tina. But nothing goes on. They're just talking, chatting. She's younger than him and a little bit, and they're at different speeds in life. Basically, I feel like they don't run in the same circles.
No,
you know what
coasting.
I mean.
She's struggling and running.
Yeah, he's always got his khakis on and shit like that. Like they're just not people that would normally associate with each other. But they like each other apparently. On June 20th of 1979, Tina's car breaks down. And for someone in her position, that is like death.
Devastating. That'll ruin your day. That'll ruin your week.
I remember being absolutely, and this is like 5 years ago, absolutely terrified that if my car broke down, I'd be so fucked because I couldn't get it. I wouldn't be able to afford to get it fixed. And how am I going to get places? It's the worst fucking hamster wheel to be on. And I was on that hamster wheel for a good 15 to 20 years, and it sucked. So not cool. Anyway, the Myers here, he said, I'll help you. I'll buy you a new car. You're a hardworking young gal. I see what a good waitress you are and everything, and a bartender, and you got to be able to get to work. Let me help you out. Let me help you.
Get Captain, save a hoe a cape.
Oh my God. Yeah, I'll help you.
Yeah.
This is like finally something he can do where he's like, I'm sure she'll like me if I buy her things.
Right. Well, the thing is that what he does at home is give and give and give, and he just wants a little bit of credit. He knows for sure that this down on her luck woman, if I help her, the credit that I'm going to get from her is going to be everything I could ever want.
That's probably how he feels, which is a sad way to try to attract people.
Depressing.
It's a very pathetic way to try to attract people. It really is.
Yeah.
It's sad. Yeah, it's very sad. So he bought her, this is on August 10th, 1979, he buys her a 1976 Ford Torino. So It's only 3 years old. That's a good used car. That's a fine used car. Tina and her two children spent that day with him, driving around with him in the new car. Hey, look at this. They drove to Mount Holly, Pennsylvania, where he owns a trailer park. There to check. I don't know if he was collecting rent or checking on just looking it over or what. But a couple days later, Myers called Tina. He was in Ocean City, Maryland, which we've talked about before. and asked her to come. Why don't you come down to Ocean City and hang out with me? Spend some time with me. I had a good time the other day. That was a good time.
Jump in the Torino. Roll down here.
So she hopped
in. 302 up. Let's go.
Hopping in the old Torino.
Yeah.
And I think you're talking about an earlier model, by the way, here. 75.
Yeah, these are not cool cars.
Not anymore, no. That's a fartmobile by 75. Yes. Yeah. That is not great. So that's somebody's grandfather's car by the 80s, you know? So he said, come on down, hop in the Torino and come see me. And she said, okay, why not? So she does. She does make a stop, though, in Reisterstown to show off her new car to a friend of hers, a guy, we'll talk about him, a guy named Daniel Lee Chatterton. We'll talk about him as well, but in a minute. So anyway, they've been friends this whole time. You know, it's been going really well. But then she comes, she pulls up in the Torino. I don't know if it's the vibrations of the Torino or Torinos are magic, obviously. I mean, you might as well. It's like taking somebody to an island, really, if you put them in a Torino.
Ask your mom where she lost her virginity. If she doesn't say Torino, she's lying to you.
Lying bitch. That's all there is to it. That's it. That's what it is. Most of you out there, you were conceived in a Torino. I hate to tell you. You all were. You couldn't help
it. Or maybe over the hood of it. Either way, it was involved.
I was in a Torino once. My dick was hard the whole time. I didn't know why. It's just the Torino.
I was sweating. I was so hard.
It was just ridiculous. Terrible. So, anyway, disgustingness there. So, Torino, I don't know why the Torino makes me laugh. So, once she gets there, she can't resist him anymore. They get together, and in the first little while they're together here, about a week in August, in mid-August, they have sex on three different occasions. And he is over the moon about this, boy. Yeah. He is loving it. Loving it. So much so, she says that they're talking at one point, and he says, man, this is great. I really enjoy being with you. You don't know anyone who could kill my wife, do you?
Oh, my God, what?
I mean, just, who knows? And she goes, well, why don't you get a divorce? And he's like, that'd be super expensive. You know how divorces are. I got a house. They're going to make me split it with her. I don't want to fucking do that. I just, my vineyard's up. I got a lot going on. I put in a new sound system in my rec room. I don't want to have to do that again. There's a lot of wires and new drywall work had to be done. It's really a pain in the ass.
Help me out, Big Iron.
Yeah, come on. Let's go, Big Iron. Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about a healthy, delicious item, Hero Bread. And we're both trying to get healthier this new year. Jimmie had a eye-opening doctor's appointment and things like that. So we're trying to get healthier, and I'm telling you right now, this Hero Bread is a good step in this direction. It's delicious, and it is really good for you, and it's really excellent. They have the sliced bread is good, the bagels, the tortillas. I know you've been
they're terrific.
Ranting about the tortillas. They're so good. With Hero Bread, you can focus on your health goals and still indulge in the soft, fluffy experience you love, but guilt-free. I really love the little Hawaiian rolls, too.
Yeah.
They're so good. The Hawaiian rolls, they're legit. They're fluffy. Yeah. They're exactly how you want them to be. You'd never know it's low-carb and high-fiber bread from the texture. You get the soft, fluffy experience you know and love with your savory breakfast sandwich, late-night grilled cheese, Taco Tuesday. Do it. Yeah. No compromises, just flavor, ultra-low net carbs, 0 grams of sugar, high in fiber. It's fantastic. Hero Bread is offering 10% off your order. Go to hero.co and use the code SmallTownMurder at checkout. That's SmallTownMurder at HERO.co.
And now back to the show.
Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you all sorts of good stuff about Chime. That's what I'm talking about. There's so many extra fees you have to pay in life. Everything. You go to the airline, there's an extra ticket on that. There's extra fee on every fees, hotels, fees, all this type of stuff. We're trying to make progress, and the next thing you know, here comes another fee coming at you, and it's more money than you expected, and your whole math is thrown off, and it's awful. Learn more at chime.com/smalltownmurder. Chime is great with that stuff. I mean, you can't beat if your things are a little tight, especially around the holidays or after the holidays. Yeah. You need that money a couple days early, or you go grocery shopping. Yeah. You got a car payment due. There's so many things that don't cross over exactly how you want them to cross over. Make progress toward a better financial future with Chime. Open your account in 2 minutes at chime.com/smalltownmurder. That's chime.com/smalltownmurder. Feels like progress. Banking services and debit cards provided by Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A., members FDIC. Spot me eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Boosts are available to eligible Chime members enrolled in Spot Me and are subject to monthly limits. Timing depends on submission of payment file. Fees apply at out-of-network ATMs.
And now back to the show.
A 7-acre vineyard is beautiful. 3.5-acre vineyard is a fucking amateur. I can't lose half.
I can't. 10.5.
Gotta be professional.
Yeah. The fuck kind of acre.
Too long. Yeah.
The hell kind of vineyard is that? Well, also, my vineyard master, Pino, is going to be very disappointed. Pino's expecting, what part of it can we even cut out of there? The poor guy, he won't know what to do. So, anyway, they apparently they get in a fight, Mary and Myers, on Friday, August 14th. Bobby was at a place that another bar she was working at called Angelo's. Bobby was there, and Tina was working, and around 8:30 p.m., Mary Ruth came in.
Oh, God.
Okay, so confrontation here. Walked in and started arguing with Bobby. All right, didn't pay Tina any mind, but started arguing with Bobby. So Bobby got up and walked away. He took off. He went around the restaurant into the back door and met Tina in the kitchen.
Oh, yeah.
This is ballsy. Your angry wife is in the restaurant. Right. How about not now?
Outside, goes around the back and talks to her.
Oh, my God. So he hugs Tina and asks her to meet him at Sharky's Cove Restaurant and Bar when she got off work. Sharky's Cove, when she got off work. So anyway, and Tina at this point she's at the Hortons boarding home. That's where she lives.
Jesus.
Which, yeah, that sounds like there's like a 75-year-old alcoholic men sleep in the hallways. It sounds like where Charlie and Frank live on Always Sunny. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, there's a toe knife somewhere.
There's a toe knife. The whole fucking floor shares a bathroom. It's one of those deals.
And we all play Nightcrawler.
So, anyway, that night, he spent the night with her there at the boarding house.
What?
I think he'd spring for a fucking hotel room, for Christ's sake.
Honest to fuck.
What's up, rich guy?
Sir.
Jesus Christ.
You're buying cars but staying at the boarding house?
Now you're going to bring bed bugs home. Now your wife's really going to know something's going on. Holy shit.
Her thighs are all bit up in the morning.
Oh, yeah. What's going on here?
That's not a way to keep the house happy or keep her from knowing anything.
Fuck no, it's not. So, anyway, yeah, they're doing that. They spend like the next 2 weeks just together, going like they don't have other things going on in their lives. Right. They go all sorts of places. They go to Mount Holly, Pennsylvania. They go to Reisterstown, Maryland. They go to Atlantic City for a while. Oh, yeah, go up to AC, do some gambling.
They both have kids.
They go to Wildwood as well, which is also Jersey. Yeah. It's by the beach. They go to Ocean City, Maryland.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, it's amazing. It's a world tour. Who lives like this?
Why get a divorce if you can just do this all the time?
Yeah, fuck it. I mean, Jesus. So what? You have to argue with Mary once in a while, but this is ridiculous. What an asshole. So one night, the two were out at dinner, and he brought it up again. He goes, because she took it as a joke the first time. You know anybody who can kill my wife? And she was like, yeah, no. Why don't you just divorce her if you don't like her? And then he was like, it's too expensive. And that was the end of the conversation. So he thought she didn't think it was a big deal. So at this point, though, one night, the two of them are out at dinner, candlelight, over each other, and you're talking, and the food, maybe they fed each other a bite of theirs, you have a bite of mine, you know what I mean? Pour each other some wine. And he asks her, in an ever so romantic tone, he says, Tina, Tina, darling, do you know anyone that can kill my wife? And then the souffle came and they ate it. And it was lovely. She said, I thought he was joking. And I said, no. And he said, well, you're from Las Vegas, aren't you? Don't you know somebody? What the fuck does that mean?
Just because she's a resident?
I mean, yeah, I guess if she's like, she probably worked at a casino. She probably knows somebody, but I don't know if they're going to travel to Maryland to take out some lady. It's not like they're...
The most scummy person I ever met was exploded with a mail bomb. No, I don't know anybody any longer.
Yeah, I knew him, but I mean, somebody blew him up with a mail. But you know how it is when your friends get blown up by mail bombs. So she said, I said, quote, no, I don't know anyone who would kill her. Why don't you just get a divorce? And he said, no, she'll take everything from me. That's how it was. So
it's worth it.
Apparently, she said that she called an attorney that she knew, and he called an attorney that he knew to see if, maybe they wouldn't be that expensive.
Maybe they had an idea.
Yeah, maybe they'll tell you something different. So she said that, she said, quote, I kept asking him in the restaurant this particular night how much it would take to just divorce her. He said he had lost everything from his first marriage, but he wasn't going to lose it again. Then he asked if I knew someone that would rough her up to make her give him a divorce without asking for everything I had. I thought of Dan. Now, Dan is Dan Chatterton that we talked about, who she showed her car off to. Yeah. Daniel, yeah, we'll talk about him in a minute. Now, Tina says, this Dan guy, he might be the guy for you, actually. I do know a guy. She said, funny thing, in the past, one time a boss of mine assaulted me, which is super common, obviously. And then in return, Chatterton offered to break his legs and arms and burn his house down.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously he's your guy. I mean,
did she let him do it?
No, I don't think so. But he offered. He said, I'll break his arms and legs and burn his house down if you want me to. And she was like, wow, that seems like excessive.
So because he's a big talker, they accept it.
I guess so.
As fact.
So Bobby said, well, why don't you give him a chat? Give him a call. Sounds like the kind of guy we're looking for here.
Yeah.
Sounds perfect. So they used a payphone in Mechanicsburg. She calls Chatterton, tells him that she had someone who wants to meet him and that where you might be able to make some money.
Yeah.
At this point, he's a janitor in a grocery store. Okay. So at the Pantry Pride grocery store, he's the mopper
Pantry
guy.
Pantry Pride, yeah.
Pantry Pride. So she talks to him, and he said that basically we should meet. Basically, let's do it. So the following night, around midnight, they meet. And they talk for a little while.
Where do they go? To his house?
Outside the Pantry Pride.
Okay.
Just when he gets off work. Out in the
We'll be next to the handicap.
In the grocery store parking lot. Yeah, right up in front in the right. Loading and unloading fire zone there.
Yeah, the yellow stripes.
That's all. So they go there around midnight. Tina and Myers drove there. They chatted for a while, and then I guess Tina went to the car. Left the two men to chat about murder together.
They did this outside in the open.
Just outside, yeah, chatting it up. It's midnight at the groceries. The old Pantry Pride. No one's around at midnight.
All right.
So Tina goes to the car, not because she doesn't want to be a part of this anymore. Myers went over to the car and asked Tina, hey, will you write down my wife's name and write down 4636 Turkey Foot Road, and then write like her age and hair color, approximate weight, just basic stats for, someone could find and murder somebody with.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Make a fake driver's license minus a picture.
Back of the baseball card. Can we do that? Yeah. Just some
rundown.
Make her easily findable.
Throw her college on there,
That's it. So a few minutes later, Myers returned to the car and told her to come say goodbye to your friend here. And so she got out and said goodbye. As they were leaving, Chatterton said to Bobby Myers, quote, don't forget, I want half down and half when the job is finished.
Okay.
And Myers replied that he had to go on a trip, but we'll be back, and then, we'll take care of business here. So that's how it works here. You got a guy who's happy to commit arson and bone breaking, so why not? Right. Apparently this meeting yielded an agreement to kill his wife, Mary, for $10,000.
Not bad.
$10,000 in 79. That's good money. that's at least real hitman money. Like if we've said it a number of times. If you go to a hitman and they quote you a price and you go, that's pretty reasonable, that's a cop. That's a cop.
Every time.
A hitman should be like, holy, how the fuck am I going to get that much money? That's what a real person would take to murder somebody, basically.
Yeah, and that's why murder doesn't happen much for hire, because then you'd have to mortgage your house, and that looks suspicious.
That looks, for a normal person to be able to pull $50,000 out of in cash and give it to somebody and then have their spouse die, doesn't look good. Usually.
Right.
So that's the problem. But yeah, anything where you go, oh, that's reasonable. Yeah, that's a cop. That's absolutely a cop. 100% a cop.
I didn't know it was so cheap. It's not. Don't do it. Don't say
it's not.
Yes.
You're absolutely going to be arrested now as well. It's totally going to happen.
Cheaper than you thought to go to jail, isn't it?
Yeah, a lot cheaper. You fucking dummies. So August 28th, 1979. All right. Mm-hmm. Bobby and Tina drove to the Myers. This is the one that Mary and Bobby owned, the North Winds Hotel or Motel in Ocean City, Maryland.
Real quickly, we should make that a shirt. Murder. If you can afford it, that's a cop.
If you can afford it, it's a cop. Yeah. That is not.
That's a damn fine T-shirt, James.
That's a fucking good one.
Goddamn thing you've ever said.
It's the truth.
You can afford it. That's a cop.
That's a cop if you can afford it. Yeah. Unless you go, whoa, that's how the fuck do I? That's not a cop. That's a person who is doing it for at least the retainer on a defense attorney. That's what they're doing it for. It's got to be 50, 100 grand, something that I could put down on a defense attorney, not this bullshit.
It's also a man who's dangerous, and you're wasting his time because you can't afford this.
Yeah, you don't want to be window shopping with a murderer. You know. This isn't a Toyota dealership where you're just looking around to check out the new Camry models. This is murder.
This isn't Amazon and you're just browsing.
No, there's no tire kicking going on here. Either you want death or not. Are you a merchant of death or not? God damn it! What do you want? So oh Christ, I love it.
Okay,
so
sorry.
they're at the
Bethesda.
no, it's great. Yeah. They're at the motel in Ocean City, Ocean City, and they later went to some woman named Maria Paulos's house, which was located above. I guess she lives above the Electric Circus Discotheque in Ocean City, Maryland.
Oh God!
Sounds
like she gets no sleep.
Well, she owns the place, so she probably doesn't try to sleep till after they're closed anyway.
Yeah.
No, but the Electric Circus sounds like a nightmare, by the way.
That sounds loud.
Oh, God, loud. A lot of colors. So loud. Jesus. That's all I'm picturing, but like at like club speaker level.
Yeah.
So when they arrived at this lady's apartment, Myers told Tina to get a bank deposit together with the receipt from the North Winds Motel, and because they had taken the cash to lie down, or to take, and then he asked Maria if he could lie down. He needs to take a little nappy poo here. He's a little tired,
stressed out.
Tina asked this Maria woman, that's her name, right? Maria Paulos? Yes, Maria. Yeah. Asked Maria if she would help make out the bank deposit. I don't know why. I guess as this Mrs. Paulos, Maria, was pulling money out of a white paper sack, Tina asked if she could freshen up.
Yeah.
I don't know why. When she came back, Myers was standing talking to Maria, and Bobby said that the bank deposit was ready, and they drove to the bank in Ocean City. At the bank, they met Myers' stepdaughter, Kimberly, the two of them now. He's with another woman, and he meets his stepdaughter, who is Mary's daughter. Okay?
Why would he do that?
I don't know. And she's crying when they meet at the bank. She's begging Bobby to come home and to call her mother because I guess her mother is very worried and whatever. This is causing strife in the house. Kids just don't want them. Just make things stable again. That's all kids want. Call her.
Stop making my mom cry.
Yeah, and stop just making it weird here. So he responded with, "No, I'm not calling her."
Okay.
And then drove away with his fucking girlfriend. So, wow. That night, Bobby and Tina drove to a Howard Johnson's in Pikeville, Maryland. Bobby had the same white paper sack with him, folded over. They entered the restaurant at that point. and Chatterton was sitting at the counter. Okay, so that's our guy here. The three of them asked for a table. They ordered breakfast, and then Tina got up, according to her, to use the bathroom. Okay. When she returned, she said, this is all according to her. Either way, they went there and this happened. Bobby and Chatterton were finishing up their talking. Then they went out to the car where Chatterton opened up the white paper sack and counted the money. Bobby told him that he was sorry he didn't have the entire $5,000, but he couldn't take it out all at once.
Yeah,
because obviously that's suspicious. Right. But I'll be back in a couple days, and we'll
pay installments. Yeah,
it's installments here. He's taking cash from the motel, so he doesn't have to take something out of a bank. Is what he's doing.
Beautiful. Yeah.
So Chatterton said, "No problem. That's fine. Yeah, I do layaway murder. That's cool."
It's great.
Yeah, a little bit down, a little bit every month, no problem. That's cool.
Monthly installments, like tires.
No sweat. So on Sunday, August 26th, 1979, the couple, now I'll call them, Tina and Bobby, drove from Ocean City, Maryland, from the Pantry Pride grocery store to Randallstown, Maryland, where they again met Chatterton, okay? Or it's in Randallstown. So they drove to the grocery store there from Ocean City to Pantry Pride in Randallstown.
Got it.
When Chatterton hops in the back seat, Myers handed him a tinfoil package, which is a very strange way to give somebody money. I don't think I've ever seen money wrapped in tinfoil before. Have you?
Yeah, in FBI busts when they display it on
even
tables.
Then it's in plastic usually, not tinfoil.
But they take it out of the tinfoil that whoever had it wrapped up in. It's always a criminal exchange of that money, is what it is.
But I've literally never seen it in tinfoil because tinfoil will rip and it'll come out, and tinfoil's not waterproof is the other problem.
Good point. But if you fold it up and shit,
yeah, I guess. Just plastic is more like wrapped in plastic is a better.
Right. He's wrapping it like a leftover turkey leg.
Because most of the time, drug dealers have access to plastic. That's one thing they have. Everything's wrapped in plastic, so they have that.
They do.
But I just picture someone in their kitchen with just a thing of tinfoil tearing it. Why won't this fucking thing tear? Never tears right.
I'll wrap up my murder money after I wrap up the ribs.
That's all. He had a sandwich he took for lunch, and then he's like, well, I mean, I had extra tinfoil.
It was out.
I ripped too much for this sandwich. So, what the fuck? So he handed him the rest of the money. Chatterton counts out the money and asks them if they're hungry. And they said, sure. So in the same parking lot, there's a fast food joint, and they go there. Perfect. As they were getting ready to leave, I guess Bobby's told him, quote, make sure it looks like an accident, or make sure it looks like a robbery. Just make sure it looks like a robbery, he keeps telling this guy. So then they drove to Wildwood, New Jersey, Myers and Tina, leaving there August 27th, where they went to Resorts International in Atlantic City. So that's,
Jesus Christ.
We even know from Crime and Sports, that's where a lot of boxing matches take place and shit. Tina visits the friend of her former husband, Jesus Christ, a guy named Ted Nurek, that's the friend, not the husband, who was working as a pit boss at the casino.
Hilarious.
She knows all sorts of characters, man. She knows everybody. It's crazy.
Everybody that does like weird things, she knows.
Yeah. I picture her like Sharon Stone in Casino, but like, you know what I mean? Like a trailer version of Sharon Stone in Casino.
Yeah.
So eventually they drive back to the North Winds there, the motel in Ocean City, where Bobby recognizes Mary Root's car parked by by where they're staying. They're like, shit, this isn't good. So rather than going and confront it, they flee. Tina and Bobby. They go visit Maria again, who invites them to stay over. They stayed over despite the from the floor while they tried to sleep.
Yeah.
Fuck, it'll stop eventually, right? So August 28th, Chatterton just did a day of light stalking this day. He was just, doing some recon, did some light stalking of Mary in Ocean City because that's where she was hanging out. And never a good time to confront her, though, and attack her. Couldn't quite get it down there. Yeah. So August 29th, the next day, he leaves his job as a night janitor at the Pantry Pride, leaves a little bit early, okay, and ends up driving to the Myers residence, okay? So he drove there. Now, Tina and Bobby, they get a call at 5:20 a.m. Telling them that the job's done.
Okay.
it's Chatterton saying, job's done. So by prearrangement, I guess Tina went to room 4 of his motel. And when Myers knew that she got there, he came in the room by crawling through a bedroom window.
Okay.
He explained that people could see if he used the door, and he's pretty sure that his wife his stepkids are still scoping him out, and he said he's got a whole team on him. He thinks of people watching him.
He's very paranoid.
It's pretty interesting. So August 28th, though, he was having a beer in the Electric Circus. This was the day before when it didn't go down. They were having a beer at the Electric Circus there, and Myers got on the phone, and he hung up the phone and said, well, he blew it. And they said, who? And he said, Dan. And Tina said, what do you mean? And he said, well, he's in Ocean City, and we got to go meet him. He blew the whole thing. He couldn't fucking get to her. This is ridiculous. Chatterton said he wanted to get her in Ocean City. When they go to meet him to talk about it, and apparently he's playing with a knife the whole time. He's like twirling it around. He's doing the thing where you stab between your fingers and shit. He's that guy. So doing all sorts of weird shit. So Tina ended up going with Maria to go shopping, and so anyway, that's how that goes. Now around 7 p.m. that night, Bobby Myers asked Tina if she would try to get a hold of Chatterton again, and that Bobby said he talked to one of his stepchildren and learned that Mary was going to the main house, the Turkey Foot Roadhouse, and would be home alone. This is the time.
Yes.
Kill her. So at about 4 a.m., August 29th, 1979, they were sleeping, Tina and Myers there. This is when Maria knocked on the door and said, telephone call, and she said, the voice on the other end said, she's dead. Our job's done. She's dead. I shot her 9 times.
Oh, my God.
That's what she said. So they didn't know if it was real or not, though. Like, is he full of shit, wanting the other half of the money? So they recognized it as Dan. That's when they went to the hotel and crawled in and did all that kind of shit. Myers receives a phone call from Jerry Welsh, the manager of the hotel, because they knew he was there. This guy tells Myers that there's some trouble at his home, and that he thinks maybe his home got broken into or something, but he should call the cops or go home and figure it out. Yeah. So Myers got off the phone, and anyway, they said that they called a neighbor he called a neighbor to go, oh, have you heard what's going on around there, anything like that? I guess they ended up hearing that there was some rumors that Mary Ruth, something's wrong with Mary Ruth. She had like a medical emergency or possibly something like that. They're not sure. So there's all this fucking confusion. August 29th. Yeah, August 29th, the next day, though, employees of the Maryland Business Service, their accounting firm, they become concerned because Mary didn't show up for work.
Yeah.
She's a workaholic. She's there super early.
She's always here. Yeah.
She's going to be late. She's calling and doing work over the phone. Right. It's one of those things. So 3 employees drove to her house.
Wow. They
get there. The front door is open about 8 inches, and music is playing loudly.
Okay.
Which is weird. All of that's weird. None of this matches with Mary. So they end up entering the house.
What?
They walk in. Because she's home, maybe, I guess. They're just walking
on, doors open.
Mary. Yeah, it sounds like a party's going on. I mean, there might as well be a balloon on the mailbox. There might as well be a balloon on the mailbox. I'm not going in.
Go in. No.
I'm not nosy. Okay. If I knock on the door, I go, Mary. She doesn't answer. I'm going back to work, and I'm like, we're taking 2-hour lunches today. Fuck this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to find her. I'm a bad employee.
Like she's in the shower. Let's go, guys. We gotta go. Yeah.
Who knows?
She's probably
maybe
naked in there. I don't want to see that.
She could be railing she could be railing Pino, the vineyard master. Right. We have no idea what's going on.
No clue.
Not a goddamn clue. So anyway, they go in there. They decide to go in the door, and they're yelling, Mrs. Myers, hey, hey, Ruth, or Mary, Ruth, where are you? And she's not answering. It's a big house to walk around in, too. It's a lot. So they walk all around. Finally, they get to her bedroom, and they walk in, and they're find a shocking sight here. She's lying on her bed with a pillow over her face and a big red spot on her chest, the way they described it. She has been shot 9 times in the head and chest.
Wow.
Okay, a 10-gauge shotgun with that's like broken open was lying by the side of her. Okay, and then a 9-shot Astro revolver with 8 rounds fired, and a .22 caliber rifle were both found on the floor as well.
Wow,
that's firepower. It's a lot of shit going on for one lady. The bedroom looked ransacked. Plants overturned, drawers open, phone ripped out of the wall. Yeah. But the problem is there is jewelry and money in plain sight.
Oh,
when they walk in, that hasn't been taken. So, when you tell someone to make something look like a robbery,
take the money, dog.
They just go around kicking shit over, and they're like, "There we go, looks like I trashed the place," but it doesn't look like you actually looked for valuables. Is the difference? Right. Looks like you just kicked a bunch of shit over. So these another murder for hire tip for us. If you can afford it, it's not real. Yeah. And if you can afford it, it's a cop. And make sure to take the money and jewelry. There you go. So not that we want you to murder, but I'm just saying this is pathetic.
If it's kicked over, it just looks like a struggle.
Yeah. How would why would someone robbing a place kick over a plant? How would that? Right. What's valuable there, do they think? Wouldn't you check, like, dresser drawers and jewelry boxes before you go kicking plants over?
You seen the price of big soil today, James?
Oh,
come on, man.
God, Jesus Christ. One of these bulbs, they cost a fortune for plants now. You been to a nursery lately? Fucking ridiculous. So Mary's white poodle was found in the hallway closet.
Yeah. Alive and well, right?
Oh, alive and well, just sitting in there in the hallway closet.
Just sitting there being the worst dog.
Yeah, being not helpful at all. So, but we never like the dogs to be killed, so that's good.
Yeah.
A chess table in the pool room had been knocked over, like a big chess board, and the gun cabinet in the den had been tampered with. So that's what we have there. That's been knocked over, gun cabinet tampered with, but the remaining rooms in the home don't look like they've been touched.
Untouched.
So
Pristine.
they kicked over some plants, knocked over a chessboard, and they're like, that looks like a robbery, and walked away.
Yeah.
So not great. This is the other thing, too. If someone is, and no offense if this is your job, because, hey, everybody's got to do it, but if someone is a janitor at a grocery store in the overnight shift,
right,
they might not have the best skill sets or work ethic to possibly follow through on a big job like this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They just might be kind of a fuck up. That's possible.
He may be middle of the night store janitor work quality on everything.
Why trust them to get away with the most difficult thing to get away with? Why trust them to do that? Why trust them?
When their employer won't even trust them to be seen in the light of day.
To be seen by customers. They're like, don't even come in the parking lot till the doors are locked, okay? We don't want anybody to see you. Come around back. Enter through the loading dock.
You happen to have a ski mask you could come in on?
Yeah, anything like that, maybe?
Maybe wear some gloves.
Oh,
Look
Jesus
like you're
Christ.
robbing the joint is what we want you to do.
Do something like that. Unbelievable. At the time, the Myers, their joint real estate assets were worth over $1.5 million just in real estate.
79.
In 79, which is wild.
That's incredible.
And due to her will, all the property passes to Bobby upon her death as well. Yeah. She's been shot 9 times in the chest and back. 5 of the 8 shots pierced her heart.
Oh, boy.
So, I mean, that's a lot, man.
Aiming, yeah.
That is aiming. And then the other ones are in the fucking head. So,
right.
I mean, there was like 4 in the head, 5 in the chest. So, heart and brain is all they were going after there. That's like a mob hit, making sure it's done right. So, anyway, they're over at the motel while this is going on still, like we said. Now, they discover the body. They call the police, and immediately they start looking for Bobby Myers to notify him, and no one can fucking find him. They hadn't seen him at work since August 16th. Almost 2 weeks it's been since he's made an appearance at MBS there. They later found out that he was going with this Tina woman and that there's all this strife, and they talked to Kimberly, the stepdaughter, who says, I met him at the bank, and he said I won't call her and all this type of shit. So September 1st, 1979, the day of the funeral, 2 days later.
Yeah.
Okay. The day of keep in mind, the people are still wearing black, okay?
Right.
Still have black clothes on. Tina moves into the house.
Oh, my God. What are you doing? Just take the money out of the bank account with a note that says for murder. Why would you do this?
Wow. The following week, Myers gave Tina another $5,000 to take to Chatterton, too, at the grocery store there. When Tina arrived, she told him, hey, I got your money. And he said he'd be in touch, but don't come near now because there's a lot of heat around and you should get the fuck out of here and don't.
Because, there was a murder.
Murder and all, and you just moved into the house like a dumb shit. So, hey, hold on there. So a week or two later, I guess the heat died down apparently because the Myers and Tina are home at their new estate here. Yeah. She went from the boarding house to the big house here.
Oh, boy, didn't she.
Wow, that's why. Very quickly, they heard a motorcycle out front.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on there? It's Chatterton with his wife pulling up on a motorcycle.
Oh, boy.
They knocked on the door and said that, we're here for the balance of my money. You owe me some money. And they get inside and they're like, they're looking at his wife and looking at him like,
what are you bringing her for? Yeah.
Does she know why you're... Yeah, like, what do I have to do this in private? Do I go, hey, Dan, I got to show you something and slip it to you in another room? And apparently after this goes on for a second, Dan goes, oh, no, she knows all about it.
She's aware.
What? No.
I told her everything.
No. Jesus Christ. What the fuck, man?
Now you have to murder 2 people on your own.
Jesus Christ. Now there's more witnesses.
To murder a man capable of murder.
And breaking bones and setting fires. Yeah. And his wife. Perfect.
God damn it.
They go, well, come on down, sit in the living room. And then they all sit down and he goes, well, tell me all about it. And Chatterton goes into extreme detail about how he did it. And we'll get into that in a minute, too. It's fucking ridiculous here. He also apologizes to him, to Myers. Chatterton apologizes to Bobby saying, I'm really sorry I broke that molding on the back door. I'm sorry about that. He goes, I didn't mean to do that. I had to put the dog in the bathroom and there was a thing and I accidentally broke the molding on the door. I apologize.
You can take it out of my pay.
The molding.
You murdered a woman.
I shot your wife in the heart 5 times, but that molding, at that fucking $1.50 molding that you can get at any hardware store, I really, sorry about that.
I regret that. It's a really nice place you have here.
Unfucking real. Everybody said when she moved in, by the way, the state police were watching him at this point, and they watch a new woman move in. They said there was still blood on the carpet when she moved in.
Wow.
Still another woman's blood on the carpet. A woman that she helped murder, and she's like, perfect, moving in lock, stock, and barrel here.
Also, the woman who you're replacing, also the woman that whose life was cut short in the exact same way that yours will if you start using sex as a weapon in this house.
Yeah, watch out. So she also moved her children in immediately, obviously.
Wow.
They live with her.
Yeah.
And so that is now 9 children in the mix, and there'll be more.
Really? Oh, boy.
And also immediately started trying on Mary's clothes to see if any of them were worth saving. Any of these worth keeping?
Yeah.
What the fuck? Are you trying on a dead woman's clothes, dude?
Gross.
That is not cool at all. She also insisted on making some serious remodeling changes in this house.
We're going to move this wall.
She did not like how Mary kept the house at all. She put... Listen to this, not just above the bed, covering the entire bedroom ceiling and mirror.
She is filthy.
She's like, I am the classiest, filthy fucking chick you're ever going to find. I want not just over the bed like some sort of fucking, like some sort of bordello here. Whole ceiling.
This
whole
is in case
ceiling.
you want to fuck in the corner. I need it over there.
Over there, over by the stereo. I want to fuck me over there. But that's just to go, hey, look, what's how classy we are. We can afford all the mirror. And had somebody install a heart-shaped jacuzzi like they're in the fucking Poconos in 1982 or some shit. What the fuck are you talking about? What? That is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. So September 26th, 1979. Yeah. This is 3 weeks and change after 4 weeks after the murder. Yeah. They fly down to Bermuda and get married.
Oh, dear God.
Her headstone's not even up yet.
This is way too fast, you guys.
Well, yeah.
Do they not realize that they're raising so many flags? What are they doing?
I guess they feel above the fucking law here. Like, well, we got away with it clean. They think it's a robbery, so what the fuck? I guess it's all good. I can just go about my business.
It takes to investigate a murder?
Wow. No, apparently they're just living in another world. He is living on some sort of insane fucking, he's like drunk with pussy at this point. That's what it is. He's drunk. I hate to use that term. I know it's gross, whatever, but he's drunk with pussy. It's the only way to describe it.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, he's intoxicated by it. He doesn't care. He's
literally behaving like every desperate man does that gets into a relationship right away.
This is bad. So yeah, they fly down to Bermuda, they get married and all that kind of thing. Now, during this, by the way, Shelley, we'll bring Shelley back into this here because she's about 17 in this at this time. She said, quote, but this is about Tina. She was, what do you call her, a real charmer. She was just as sweet to me as anybody could be. Treated me like a princess for a while.
Yeah.
Okay. She said, gradually, Tina let it be known that Shelley wasn't welcome there. She said they would be going out, and it was never the whole family, just Bobby and her, and she would tell me I would not be allowed out of the house. I'd have to stay home and babysit her kids.
All the kids, yeah.
Yeah, Dad would say, we can get a sitter, but Tina would say no, and I said she stays here, and she's the sitter, and that was that. So she'd say, no, I said her, she's doing it, and that was... Right.
We don't need to get a sitter. We have one.
We have one, so that's how that goes. So, yeah, that's tough with step-parents. Now, Chatterton... He is a fucking moron, in case you didn't know, by the way. Yeah. He told some guy named Adam Hansha that, this is fucking funny. He told him that, yeah, I killed that guy's wife, all this type of shit. Or the guy asked him, did you kill that guy's wife?
Yeah.
And Chatterton said this, quote, this is awesome. I'm not going back to the slam, but if I do, I'm taking 2 people with me.
What?
And then, not going back to the slam, but if I do, I'm taking 2 people with me.
Does he mean Ernie?
He means Bobby and fucking and Tina. Ernie. Yeah, Ernie, big Ern. And he says to, and then the guy said, "Well, who?" And he said, "Quote." And then he just started sipping his coffee. He said, "Who?" And he just turned away, started sipping his coffee. I'm not going to say that. So September 8th, by the way, to rewind a couple of weeks, 1979. Corporal Leet and another Maryland state trooper went to see Chatterton and at his job. And when asked to describe what happened, Leet described it like this, quote, we parked our car directly behind the car of Daniel Chatterton. And when he came out of his place of employment, we exited the vehicle. He looked at us, and I, in fact, asked him if he had a gun in the car, and he replied no. And at that point, without any prompting, he went over and put his hands on my right front fender of my police car and assumed the frisk position. Not even, what's this all about, fellas?
Yeah, right.
How's it going? Don't know what you're talking about. He immediately was like, well, I'm busted.
You know what I did.
Oh, my God. So that is fucking amazing, by the way. That's right out of the report. That looks terrible.
It sure does.
If a cop walks up to you, you just put your hands up and cuff me for me. That looks bad. You must have done something. What did you do wrong, sir? Wow. So September 1979, also, Bobby reports to his insurance carrier that certain items of jewelry belonging to Mary Ruth had been stolen in this robbery, and he just noticed it. Meanwhile, they weren't stolen, by the way. Tina was wearing them.
Oh,
Tina's wearing them. Are you kidding me? We'll find out. Other people say that the cops are asking around, and they come up with about 10 different 10, Jimmy. Fucking 10 different people that say for a long time before this all went down, maybe last year or two, Bobby's told each and every one of these people that he no longer loves Mary, number one, and that he wanted to be rid of her, and that a divorce would ruin him financially, and that he wished he could just put a contract on her life.
9 plus 1. That many
9
people.
plus 1 people, yeah.
Oh, boy.
6 plus 4 equals you're an idiot. This is fucking 10 people? Why are you telling all these people? He was like, He was like hinting around to everybody he knew to see if they go, well, I know a guy.
Yeah.
That's what it was. He was putting feelers out to see if anybody goes, if you're serious about that, I know a guy who actually does that kind of thing.
He said that to 3 of his friends and then said it to 7 more.
7 more. And then even said it to a chick he met at the bar who's his waitress.
Right.
This guy is not a good killer. He's not bright at this. Hey, everybody. Just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about Sono Bello. You know, the most known secret with celebrities and influencers and all these famous people is so many of them have had lipo. They've had lipo, whether it's a little touch-up here or a total makeover.
Yeah.
Nobody has a perfect body. That's the thing.
No.
They may look like it on TV, but there's things that help that. Absolutely. Lipo now has changed, and Sono Bello's been at the forefront with using LAL technology and getting those beautiful and natural outcomes for each person. Looking real natural. Our friends at Sono Bello are offering their best deal. You're now included in their winter savings event, but appointments are limited, so please get on this. Sono Bello doctors are masters in micro laser fat removal, a brilliant technique that removes stubborn fat permanently wherever your problem areas are. Tummy, love handles, thighs, arms, it's gone in one comfortable visit. Eating healthy and workouts are great. Keep doing that, but if you want to lose that stubborn fat in one visit, check out Sono Bello. Save big during their winter savings event. Schedule your free consultation now at sonobello.com/smalltownmurder. That's sonobello.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit more about our stylish friends at Quince. That's right, let's go elevate your styles, people. Yeah. Get it going, look good out there, and you can do it now without breaking your wallet, without breaking the bank, because at Quince, you can get high-end, versatile pieces at prices we can all actually afford, which is very nice. You want to get good stuff that lasts and it's good, and they have quality stuff that's very affordable, and you can do like we did, upgrading our stuff here, while still being a very reasonable price. Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, responsible manufacturing practices, along with premium fabrics and finishes. It's all quality stuff. You're going to love it. Trust us, it looks good. And I've got the leather jacket. It's a very high-quality item. Real nice, soft leather. Yeah. Jimmie's got his linen pants he's rocking.
Yeah, they're terrific.
Come on, be like us. Be fashionable. Get in there with Quince. Indulge in affordable luxury. Go to quince.com/smalltownmurder for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/smalltownmurder to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
So some time goes by. There's no arrest.
Really?
They talk to Chatterton. He goes, I don't know nothing about nothing.
Yeah.
And they have a bunch of circumstantial. We think he wanted to kill his wife at some point, but he said some weird shit to people. But there's nobody's saying he came to me with money in his hand saying, can you find someone to kill my wife? There's no hard evidence of it. There's no physical evidence. There's nobody's talking. So it's
Dan says arrest me, but I'm not going to say anything.
I mean, for Dan, though, he has a criminal record a lot. Like, he gets busted on a gun charge later on. He gets busted for drug charges. Like, he probably just thinks, I did some dumb shit. It's normal for him to get arrested.
He stays out long enough to get arrested on drug charges.
Gun charges. 2 years go by, Jimmie.
Oh, boy.
2 years. Okay. Over this, Tina and Myers, over the next 2 years, solidify the relationship. Tina does not work anymore. She spends a shitload of money, though, and makes him spend a lot of money, too. One of her friends described the situation as, quote, she would watch television while ordering Myers to prepare meals, do the laundry, and care for their child.
Yeah.
So Myers spent about $150,000 renovating the house to her liking and buying her jewelry and a mink coat and all this other type of shit, too. His business, by the way, is falling apart because he's way more interested in fucking her than he is business. So
how good does she fuck, man? That is
it's
crazy.
Got to be wild. It's got to be shit. She was a pro at one point. I mean, she's probably got some tricks.
She took it pro. She went to the big leagues.
He's a fucking accountant from Maryland. Like,
sex used as a weapon, so he was doing some jerking off in this house.
Oh, God. Just in in some weird downstairs bathroom across the house.
Yeah.
Like, it's a very sad way.
Over the toilets.
Some disgusting, some in the fucking, out in the vineyard in the middle of it. Like, Pino doesn't get up for another 2 hours. These are going to be jizz grapes. No one will know it, but they're all drinking my jizz. So, it's got to be wild, man. And I think he's a very mild guy, and this is just not the type of person he's ever been with, and it's very exciting for him. She would write letters to him all the time. Every day, she wrote love letters to him. Every day, she'd write him love letters, and he ate that shit up, and he loved it, and they seemed to be happy together, put it that way. So, February 17th, 1981... the Westminster police here and the state police are following up some intensive surveillance, and they wiretapped and bugged the Myers home and office.
Oh, boy.
Oh, yeah. They listened to thousands of 1,000 hours of telephone conversations and all this type of shit, okay? Yeah. It's at this time where they pull over Daniel Chatterton, and they get him on a gun charge where he has a gun on him. Okay, Chatterton was driving a 77 Lincoln Continental with an expired registration. That's why he got pulled over.
Everybody's got a Continental.
Well, this particular Continental had previously been registered to a Robert Myers as well. It's Bob's old car. It's Bobby's old car. He sold it to him or gave it to him or traded it to him for another murder or who the fuck knows. And they find a handgun in the car. So now old Daniel's going to jail here at this point. So... right after this happens, okay, like the next day, Tina Myers is charged with bigamy in Bermuda.
What?
Yeah, charged with bigamy in Bermuda.
She went and got married again?
Well, no. According to the warrant, when she married Myers, she was still married.
Oh, shit.
She was still married to James Marco, a Florida plumber and auto mechanic.
Bigamy.
And so, she's now considered a bigamist. Now, weird timing, right? They arrest Chatterton for another charge. Chatterton makes him sound delicious. I want him to be Chatterton. They arrest Chatterton for another charge, and then, like, that week, all of a sudden, Bermuda's arresting Tina. It's very weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
Bermuda calling. They charge her there. July of 81, a few months later, Tina gives birth to a baby girl.
Oh, my God.
Her and Bobby's first child.
Wow. Wait, what?
10 in the mix.
Oh, my word.
Her name is Sabrina. And, by the way, here it is, Jimmy, the cherry on top. Who is this child's godfather, you may ask?
Who's that?
Daniel fucking Chatterton.
Stop that.
I hand to God. That is the... Are you kidding me?
You're having the guy who murdered your wife. I guess you're that indebted to him. Anything happens to me, I want you... You're
outside of the mob.
Yeah.
What you said, when someone murders for you, you then never talk to them again. Separate from them. Get away from each other. This isn't the mob where you're all buddies and then, he took out my first wife. He's a good guy. I'm going to make him the godfather. He's a good fella, this one. That's insanity.
He took care of my ex-wife. He'll probably take care of my kid.
Oh, my God. What a fucking dumb shit.
Wow.
What a weird thing to do.
Italians have the Godfather.
We do that, yes. They're not Italian.
All right.
This is the only culture it makes sense in, and theirs it's considered odd.
You've hit for me. I will now make you my Godfather.
Well, I mean, yeah, you could depend on that person.
Yeah.
But you didn't meet him as the janitor at the grocery store. That's a guy you've known for fucking 20 years, and you've killed people together and stuff. You have a lot of shit going on. You've done capers together. So September 4th, 1981 here, so a little bit later. By the way, by September 4th, 81, Tina's pregnant again.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Again. She's still she's pregnant.
There's mirrors in the bedroom, James. Of course she's pregnant.
Yeah, that's true.
She's not going to stop being pregnant. Constant
pregnancies here. It's so weird.
She's
so
on
fucking weird.
Like an IV of his jizz.
Apparently so, because that's a quick pregnancy. That's July of 81. That's barely the 6 weeks they tell you not to, you know.
That's Irish twins, isn't it?
To let rebuild the fucking walls. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's crazy.
He re-episiotomied
Yeah, I'm saying. Fuck, man. Got to refill the pool over here.
Don't even need to hit that switch yet. It's already open.
Fuck, man. That's brutal. So that's tough on a body. Pregnant again. I'd be like, oh, God. So she waives the right to an extradition hearing and instead flies to Bermuda to face the bigamy charges. Head on.
I mean, if you're going to do prison time, it feels like Bermuda might be delicious to do it in.
Wait till you hear how not delicious it is to do time in Bermuda. Yeah, wait till you hear that. So November 11th, 81, Corporal James Leet again, remember that guy from the report of the frisking thing? He names, in his report of the whole thing, names Chatterton a suspect in the death of Mary Ruth, finally, over 2 years later, during a hearing in Carroll County Circuit Court on the gun charge. So he brings that up, that he is a suspect, because he's trying to get them not to get bail. And as part of that, he says, we think that he's also a suspect in an ongoing murder investigation, so hold him. So at that point, though, now it's out in the open that they're suspecting him of that. And he acknowledged that Chatterton, Myers, and Tina had all been subpoenaed now to testify before a special grand jury investigating the death of Mary Ruth. So,
oh boy.
November 20th, 1981, Robert Myers appears before the grand jury.
Yeah.
He is shit-faced drunk. He shows up fucking tore up at court. Let me tell you about my dead wife now. Hold on a minute. I got the hiccups. It's a lot.
What murder?
I propose a theory that she's actually still alive and she's coming in the door right now. And he points to it.
I said
right
now.
Now. I swear she was there last night. I don't know. I saw things last night.
She's just having a vacation right now.
Man.
The only thing murdered right now is my liver.
I gotta stop drinking rubbing alcohol. I see things. Lots of things.
Have you guys had rum with your eggs? It's amazing.
So good. So Bobby and Tina instead outside make statements to all the media, to the newspaper reporters, that the police are harassing them and making their lives a living hell.
Yeah.
They said they've had their photos taken outside their home. Myers' attorney said that Corporal Leet is responsible for basically they find out that he's the one they tipped off Bermuda.
Yeah.
And so, they said that was just to fuck with them, and this is ridiculous, police harassment, and all that kind of shit. So she's still in Bermuda while this is going on. So November 21st, 1981, Bobby flies to Bermuda to be with Tina and their baby who are there. And she's pregnant. So that's
to be a good dad.
That would be a good dad. That's when they're arraigned.
Better on the beach.
She's arraigned for bigamy at that point. 3 days later, November 24th, Daniel Chatterton tells people that, this is in a grand jury inquiry here, that he's just a happily married father of 2 girls who's been harassed for more than 2 years by state police investigators.
He's really going to think he thinks he's getting away with it.
This is ridiculous. He's indignant, Jimmy. This is terrible. He says he thinks he became a suspect after police learned he made a phone call in the middle of the night from his townhouse to their Ocean City motel room where he was staying. He said, they claim I called to say I did the murder. But he's like, no, not at all. He said that he's never offered an explanation to the police of the phone call or his whereabouts during the murder, but he will tell his story here. And he says that you're the only people I've ever given this explanation to. He says, I just take in all the police have to say and hold it. That's what it is. So anyway, he said while he was working in Reisterstown there on the night shift, he said he became acquainted with Tina Myers, who was a frequent shopper. She'd come in after work while he was working. He said, I struck up a conversation. He said she presented herself very well.
Really?
She got a nice rack on it, and I was like, all right. This is good.
She lived in a boarding house. How well could she present herself?
Not a bad rack for 3 in the morning. You know what I'm talking about? All right. He said that when he saw the woman in the store one night, he mentioned that he was looking for a used car. Tina told me that she knew a car I could get at a good price. That's how this all happened.
This is so dumb. Hey, nice tits. I'm looking for a new car.
Well, anywhere I get a new car, a used car. He said he eventually decided on a bigger motorcycle instead of a used car. That's how that goes. He said, after I bought the bike, I asked the dealer the best way to prepare it for the winter. The dealer recommended a nice drive to break it in.
For the winter?
For the winter? A nice. Okay. What the hell are you talking about? He said, I don't know what he's doing. I really don't. He said, so I came home and Tina was holding the car for me with the option to buy, and I told her that I would get back to her as soon as possible. I went out looking to tell her that I didn't want the car. I came back and talked to her on the CB radio.
Of course there's a CB radio.
Of course there's a CB radio involved. It's 1979. Yeah. He said that the second call that I got her on the phone. I told her I didn't want the car. It was in the wee hours, anywhere from 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. So he called her at 4 a.m. to say he didn't want to buy the car, which seems like something that could wait till morning, probably.
Hey, good morning.
Did I wake you? Hey, nobody's dead. It's cool. I'm not going to take that car.
Right.
All right. Okay. All right. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.
Good night.
Night. You want to hear a story? So, and he said that that night I wasn't on my bike because he said they asked him why he looked for her on his motorcycle when he knew she was in Ocean City, and he said that night I wasn't on my bike, I was home. He also said that he contradicted earlier statements by saying, quote, I did take me a little ride on my motorcycle. I looked for her and didn't find her. So he says like 3 different times he looked for her and then he didn't look for her. Mm-hmm. He said, I came home, I puttered around on the radio, and then I called her for the first time. He said eventually he got him in Ocean City. He said that's the call, he said, that police think was made to tell Robert Myers the murder was complete. But of course that wasn't it. He said, I met Bobby Myers just after the whole murder thing went down. I didn't even know Bobby before. I met Bobby at a birthday party for Tina's children.
Okay.
He said that since then, he's become close friends with Bobby, though. Now we're friends. He said, I'm the godfather of his fucking daughter. So my personal opinion of Bobby Myers, well, I think he's a hell of a nice guy.
Yeah.
I don't think he'd hurt even an animal. Why would he hurt an animal either? I don't care.
What does that mean?
I don't even think he'd kick a dog to death. I really don't. I think he's a decent guy. I don't know what his feelings are toward his ex-wife, but I know her death hurt him quite a bit. That's what he said. So, and then in court, he said he looked at his wife and he said, his wife, when she got on the stand, she knew him too. She said, quote, I don't think he would hurt anybody.
Well, he won't hurt an animal. And we know that for a fact because he didn't. He just hurt a woman.
But it's all, just a woman. Just a woman, that's all. Not like a rabbit or anything.
Right. Left the dog unharmed in a closet, but killed a woman.
Killed a whole woman. Crazy. So he said, though, that the police have been up his ass. He said, the police have been on me like hellfire. Hellfire. He said him and his wife list of examples of why they feel they've been living in terror. He said, I personally feel like I can't make love to my wife without them knowing it. They sit there with those binoculars and peer through my windows. I see them jerking off out there. I know they're stroking it in those cars. There was a guy behind a bush with his hands down his pants.
Damnation.
Good God. One guy was filming it. I swear to God, it's harassment.
I feel like I can't bang my wife without them knowing it.
Oh, man. Can't even bang my wife over here. What the fuck? He said the neighbors just sit quietly, or the neighbors say that they don't just sit quietly out there. The neighbors say that the cops will tell them stories about them, saying, oh, do you know what these guys are? And like ask questions and stuff to make them uncomfortable. One time, his wife said an investigator took her brother aside for a chat and said, quote, when he brought my brother back, he was white as a sheet. He told my brother-in-law that I was a killer, a gangster, and a bad person.
Oh, boy.
That's what they're telling people here. She also said investigators told her the same thing, and during a visit and several phone calls, claimed her husband had been unfaithful to her as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Quote, he even told me there could be a contract on my life. They told me he was having an affair with a Las Vegas showgirl and all kinds of things. They hit me with all kinds of stuff. He tried to come up and be my friend. This is her talking about the cop. He tried to save me from the harm my husband was going to do me. He said, he's bad for you. He's going to get you killed. He told me I could go and start my car up one day and it could just blow up.
It could.
I mean, yeah, if you're a bail bondsman and a pimp, maybe.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they said at work, too, police would come by the Pantry Pride all the time. And he said, quote, to keep it going to your fellow employees and tell them that what an awful person you are. It's ridiculous. He's just so upset about it. He said, if it wasn't for my in-laws and family, I'd be nothing. I can't even find work. No one will hire me. He said, he says he makes several $100s a week hustling pool and playing poker. That's how he's making a living right now. Jesus Christ. Wow. And then he gets arrested for the transporting of the gun and making a false statement to a police officer. And that whole thing is going on. They found a shotgun in the trunk and a .25 caliber pistol in his pocket of his jacket. Okay. Anyway, this whole thing is going on here. They say that the Corporal Leet told him that Myers is trying to set him up. That's what he told me. He goes, look, he's going to set you up too. You did this for him, but what do you think? He's just going to let you tell on him?
Right.
And he also Corporal Leet apparently told him, according to Chatterton, that, quote, if anything happens to Bobby Myers, I'm coming after you.
Okay.
Everybody's going to be healthy. He said, I asked Bobby about the gun. This is Chatterton. And he said that Myers had put the gun in his pocket when he borrowed it to take the trash out to his Myers County estate. He said that Myers simply forgot to take the gun out of his pocket. Then he hung the jacket back in the car. Said, it was not even my jacket. I don't know anything about it. So it's Myers' jacket. You know how that goes here. Okay. So, anyway, he says it's so fucking ridiculous. He says that I'm surprised to myself I haven't lost my temper. And his wife said, he's a real gentleman, really. He really is, my husband.
Yeah.
Then Chatterton said, I'd like to speak with Corporal Leet for a few minutes and rip his face off. But then again, I wouldn't hurt anybody.
Okay.
Got to add that. I would never hit those guys, those state guys, for doing their jobs. I just think, it's just that they think I would. I don't know what the fuck that means. So it's a lot of thinking. He said that he would welcome a trial at this point, but, they just need to get this over with and charge him and stop, or don't charge him and leave him the fuck alone and all this type of shit. So anyway, the grand jury returns murder indictments against Chatterton, Bobby Myers, and Tina.
Oh,
yeah, we'll talk about that. All three of them. By the way, the state's attorney's office says it will recommend the death penalty for all three.
Holy shit.
So November 25th, 1981, Robert Myers had flown to Bermuda to spend Thanksgiving dinner with his wife. That's what he went there for. He said he took a turkey and everything. Now, Tina's being held in a jail cell there. On November 30th, she pleads guilty to bigamy and receives, you, ma'am, may fuck off, a 2-year jail sentence.
Wow.
In Bermuda.
Bermuda. You can do that, but you can't. Don't you dare disappear a white girl. You'll get away with it scot-free.
Fucking Jesus Christ! So
Isn't
later
that where
on,
that chick disappeared.
I don't remember. One of those fucking. I don't remember. One of the islands, probably Bermuda.
Yeah.
So she's transported to the United States at one point. So the marriage to Myers is now nullified. By the way, so now she's not married to him anymore. The state police entered into a secret agreement with Maryland and Bermuda authorities to have her extradited to the island in April of 81 to begin with, and that's when she went and stood the charge anyway. She was put in what they called a dank prison cell with a woman who was known as a very tough woman who'd been charged with running cocaine through the Caribbean. So they put her in there. Now, the woman, her name was Diane Culp, and she isn't someone running cocaine through the Caribbean. No. She's an undercover officer trying to get information out of her.
Fantastic.
So it's her job to get her to talk. Diane is in the cell when Tina comes in, she came in with furs and jewelry on. We'll talk about that. Wow. She thought that, basically she thought that the way she thought about it, Tina thought she was going like to a hotel, basically. That's the look, but she's in fucking jail. The cell is 10 by 10 with no windows, toilet, or sink. Makes that Rikers shit look amazing. Makes Rikers look like heaven.
And
no
a
vineyard.
Roommate.
Yeah, and no vineyard. It has 2 metal beds, a small sliding panel in the door for the guards to serve the food that they give them. The guards down here also, they serve them hot dogs, bread, and rice. That's what they get.
How many mirrors are on the ceiling?
Very few, actually. Fewer than you'd think. The guards beat prisoners even for talking back down there as well, apparently. Jesus. So this Culp here, Sergeant Diane Culp is her name. She's placed in the cell with no contact from the outside and all that kind of shit. She's there. She this is fucking amazing. She said that it's rough down there. The Culp lady said that in court, she once saw a judge give a guy 5 years in prison with no parole for sleeping on a park bench.
Holy shit.
They're rough down there. She said that the only people that knew her undercover role were the attorney general and the chief of police. So she was getting worried after a while that they would still know who she was and she wouldn't get stuck down there forever. She said she worried that the police had forgotten about her, but they didn't, and she was successful because Tina talked about everything, the homicide, her direct knowledge of it. She even trusted this Sergeant Culp so much that she said that when she gets out of jail to give Tina a call and me and my husband will hire you. We'll give you a good job. That's how much she trusted her. So finally all the charges come down here. Like we said, they indict everybody. All this shit goes on. Myers was in Bermuda, Bobby, when the indictment was handed down, and he had to return to Maryland. They flew down, Corporal Leet flew down to Bermuda to get him. They escorted him back on the return flight. They didn't arrest him till they landed on the plane in Maryland, obviously. He had his coat draped over his head, hands cuffed in front of him, and they let him through the airport terminal there.
Oh, boy.
He was laughing and answering reporters' questions outside while they walked him out, doing the perp walk. Okay. He said that his wife and child are in Bermuda. Everything's fine. And, he said, I just went to Thanksgiving. I went down there for Thanksgiving. I brought a turkey down there. He said, I never thought I'd be indicted. This is ridiculous. Fucking stupid. Now I'm here. So he's held without bail as well.
Yeah.
So is Chatterton, and he's moved to a different county detention center, so they're not in the same one. So anyway, Tina is going down there. She's in Bermuda in jail, spilling her guts to a fucking cop.
Sergeant Culp, yeah.
December 3rd, 81, her bail is reduced from $750,000 to $100,000.
Okay.
And she's ordered to be held at the Baltimore City Jail instead of out where they are. So they want them all in different places. December 15th, 1981, civil lawyers for Bobby Myers say his accounting business is on the verge of collapse and his estate, valued at more than $1 million, is being liquidated to pay off more than $500,000 in debts that he's owed.
Oh, no.
Bad stuff. Yeah, he's fucked up bad. This is don't buy furs and jewelry or can go away. So January 2nd, 1982, they have an auction. They have an auction at his house. He and Tina give this Philip Sutley, an attorney, power of attorney, and to sell off all their shit. 1,000 people show up.
Wow.
To bid on their shit because it's like the nicest house around. So they all want to see this mansion.
Oh yeah.
Somehow though, they only got $30,000 for a bunch of items here. They didn't sell everything, but $30,000 for their items here. Everybody just wanted to see the ceiling. The ceiling mirror. Literally, that's what it said in the newspaper.
That's what I would want to see.
That was people just wanted to see what a whole fucking ceiling mirror would be like. It's weird.
I don't want to bid on anything. I just want to see where their fuck dungeon.
Yeah, just gawker, looky-loo fuck dungeon Taurus. That's all. Fuck dungeon Taurus. February 9th, 1982, the judge grants the prosecutor's request to move the trial to Garrett County. Now, anyway, this is from Myers' attorney during this time. Okay, they have the one guy and then they have this attorney. He says, quote, the trial had been moved to Oakland in Garrett County. Oakland, a town of 2,000 people, is perched near the top of a 2,500-foot mountain in the Appalachian Range, part of western Maryland. Myers filed an appeal to the Court of Appeals in order to have this case returned to Carroll County since I, for one, felt strongly that if the state's attorney did not want it in his home ballpark for whatever reason, I would prefer it. I would prefer it to be there rather than up with the mountain people. Up with the mountain people.
You know what that's about.
He's heard our fucking show before, man. I'll tell you what.
Trash, James. It's
oh my God, mountain
trash.
People, hill trash. So. March of 1982, Tina is 6 months pregnant, by the way, now with this. Here, she sat, this is March 23rd, 1982. She sat holding hands with Bobby in court, whispering in each other's ears while the lawyers talk about shit. The next day is a little bit different. The next day, they're not together, and rather than enter her normal way, she comes out of judge's chambers, and she's not cuffed anymore.
Oh, she's earning her way out?
She's not cuffed. The lawyer says, quote, I had to explain to Bobby that she had in fact double-crossed him, which in turn meant she was pushing him to the gas chamber, and tears ran down Bobby Myers' face, and he said he understood the scope of his wife's decision. She made a deal.
Oh, that woman.
Like that.
That
she
goddamn woman.
She made a deal. Yep. She made a deal to admit that she arranged the meeting between the two of them, testify against both of them, Chatterton and Bobby, but the charges against her were null prost, which means not going to happen, in exchange for her testimony.
Wow.
Yep. March 24th. Yeah, it's fucking amazing. They announced that that's how it works. They struck a deal with the prosecutors, and she gets full immunity.
Unbelievable.
That's full immunity is a little much here. That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, giving her a deal is a deal.
Yeah.
Dropping it to manslaughter or some shit like that, or just conspiracy. But
one guy did cold-blooded murder. We want to testify against him. The other guy wanted cold-blooded murder done. Sure. Yeah. But the person who made those things happen also has to get something. Not as much as them, probably, but something.
Yeah. The whole thing does not happen without her.
Oh, no, she's the cog. He didn't know anybody to kill. Right. He asked 10 people, and they all said, I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
We're like, did you say, do you mean murder?
Yeah.
Jesus,
he was,
no.
After 10 people, you're way at the end of the bench. You're not going to let any of those, trust any of those people to do it. Yeah, so her lawyer, now, by the way, they were sharing the same lawyer. Now their lawyer is her lawyer.
Oh, damn it.
Yeah, he went with her. It's like a wrestling angle. Like he went with the champ now and like dropped his old guy here. He says, quote, I spoke with my client last night. She told me of her involvement in the murder and has been granted total immunity to testify against Robert Myers and Daniel Chatterton.
Holy shit.
They asked Robert Myers his reaction to this, and he said, I just heard about it this morning. I don't know exactly what she said. She lies. She'll do anything to save herself. I know this. I know nothing about the crime. He's denying it.
Yeah. Here's the other part, James, and I already know what's coming because that's fucking incredible. She may not be married to him, but those are his children, and she is entitled to money from that estate too.
Oh, it gets very interesting. Yeah,
it's going to get so muddy and ugly. Holy shit.
So during Daniel's trials first, by the way, his trial's pretty quick. And this is fucking funny. His lawyer in the closing says, as you look at Daniel Chatterton, the fundamental question is he a cold-blooded killer or just a buffer of pantry pride floors?
Wow.
Quote, his worst break was running into Tina Myers.
That's true.
And anyway, he is found guilty of murder. And they sentence him to, you, sir, may fuck off, life in jail with no parole.
Wow. How about
but not
that?
the death penalty. He was up for the gas chamber, no death penalty. So, yeah. Now, in June, Myers' case gets returned to Carroll County. The appeal worked. He got away from the mountain people, apparently. So, now, 1982, while, Jesus, he's an idiot. Bobby has a big fucking mouth. Bobby's in jail. A guy named Thomas Bowman talks about incriminating conversations between Myers and Chatterton that he overheard in jail.
Jesus Christ.
Are you kidding me? In March of 82.
Why would you talk at all? Just shut the fuck up.
Oh, my God. This is when they were in the same one briefly. This guy related to the jury later on to a court that Chatterton told Myers that Tina is going to have to shut up. She's going to have to get taken care of and gotten rid of before she makes a deal with the state's attorney.
Holy shit.
So they were talking.
Yeah.
The two of them were like, she's going to make a deal and we're both going to be fucked. We got to figure this out because if without her, there's no link between us and everything's fine, except for that I'm your, I'm your daughter's godfather and I'm driving your old car. So Chatterton, this guy Bowman said that Chatterton went on to say that he could arrange to have a person hired, quote, to take care of this and shut her up if Myers came up with money, $20,000 or $30,000. Yeah. The price has gone up here, inflation.
It's getting more and more expensive.
So Myers was in court while he heard this. Bowman said that he heard Myers interject, quote, I know we shouldn't have gotten into this mess to begin with. I know we shouldn't have called her there to the house. I know I know they'd know it was me. And Chatterton then said, well, that's the only place I could get a clean shot at her. That's the only place without any witnesses or anything. There's nothing I can do about it. So they're literally having the worst conversation you could have ever in front of people.
Chatterton's the perfect name for this son of a bitch.
Yeah, it's with D's, but it's chatter still.
He's chattering. He's chattering like a motherfucker.
Fucking chattering it up. So I guess after that, this guy said that Chatterton or that Bowman just looked at Bobby, not Bowman. Bowman's the guy talking. Bobby just looked at Chatterton and didn't say anything. So September 82, some pre-trial shit very quickly. Myers files a pretrial motion for appropriate relief in which he alleged that the state knowingly cashed in on what Myers perceived to be the unethical conduct of his ex-attorney, Philip Sutley, who got his wife a deal. According to Myers, who counseled both of Tina and him during the period of the time the deal was consummated, in which Tina agreed to be a prosecution witness against Myers and Chatterton in exchange for all charges to be dropped, Myers asserts that the state abetted what he believes to be Sutley's professional misconduct toward Myers. Okay. He's got a point there, I'll be honest. Like legally, it's a pretty shitty thing to do. Anyway, either way, the trial opens up here. This is the biggest thing in town, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
It's huge. Yeah. Bigamy, fucking. It gets even weirder, too, once we get into court here, where it's going to be wild. So people are there. It's a 9:30 a.m., 10 a.m. trial. People come at fucking 6 o'clock in the morning to be able to get in. It's the same thing they do with Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial when that was going on. They lined up at like 3 in the morning. This is like OJ. It's fucking crazy.
And that's in Virginia. People were there waiting at fucking 3:15 in the afternoon to get in to see the verdict. Like, how did you drop everything to get to the courthouse? They just ran
there. That was wild, man.
Yeah.
That was crazy. One woman they talked to, a Kathy Goodwin of Sykesville, said, I got up at 5:30 in the morning to be here. And she said that she didn't even get a ticket to get in. She said there was only 50 tickets for spectators, and she was 54th in line.
Oh, damn it.
That's it. She said, my husband gets up at 4:30. If I'd have been smart, I'd have gotten up with him. Well, yeah. So they just hang out in the hallways. They said that she just hung out in the hallway talking to other people who couldn't get in and cross-stitching. So she's just cross-stitching and talking about a murder trial, baby. This is like... And then they found...
murder. It goes together very well.
I was going to say, if this was, 30, 40 years later, they'd be putting on the Small Town Murder podcast and listening in this hallway. So, anyway, and another woman, Edna McCart, she was eating a hamburger and fries and listening to some other guy who's a horse trainer who he saw the morning testimony but couldn't get a ticket for the afternoon, so he's holding court, telling everyone what happened in the afternoon. That guy said he got in, but his son didn't, so he had to leave his son outside, which is fucking hilarious here.
And now he's the town crier. Hear ye.
Let me tell you all something. They dismiss a juror during this part of it. A juror named, I guess, a prospective state's witness named Glenn Ross told the judge of the case that a juror, John Rummer, had discussed the case with this potential state's witness at a local restaurant. Okay. So they had talked about it, and so the judge removes the juror from the jury and replaces him with one of the alternates. So that's how that goes. Myers does not testify on his own behalf. Okay. He does argue in the opening closing statements and through what they're doing, basically, that he his whole case is, I didn't know anything was going on. I didn't know there was a scheme to murder Ruth. Tina must have been jealous and didn't want me to give her any money because she wanted to live the lifestyle. So she probably just had her friend kill my wife. That's probably what happened.
Yeah.
She
I don't
was
know
super.
The guy, so the only person that knows him is her. So obviously it's her.
That's it. She's motivated by Tina's desire to marry him. That's how it works. That's what he said. Myers sought to place into evidence stock certificates and securities that were purchased in the name of Mary Ruth Myers in 1977 and 1978. He's saying, why would I buy her long-term financial securities if I thought she'd be dead by then? Right. That's silly, right? Well, probably because you'd get them anyway, so what do you fucking care? Anyway, that's his thing, though. Why would I buy her things if she was going to be dead anyway? Okay. You know, Christ. If she's bought a pair of shoes in the last year, I'm not guilty. That's how it works. So Myers also said that the securities in her name were relevant to contradict the theory that killing his wife would be too expensive. He argued that the jury could conclude that it would be nonsensical for him to permit him to purchase these securities with his money if he intended to kill her. Just ridiculous. Also, the jailhouse conversation, they're talking about whether that comes in or not, that Thomas Bowman's conversation. Now, they object on the grounds of hearsay. Okay. Now, hearsay, by the way, speaking of that, and I saw a lot of people confused in trials of what the fuck hearsay is. There's a lot of confusion, so let's go over it here. Myers asserts that the admission into evidence violates his federal constitutional right to confront his accuser, that is, an out-of-the-court declarant, Chatterton, who said these things. Here's the quote. Quote, the hearsay rule forbids evidence of out-of-court assertions to prove facts asserted in them. Manifestly, proof of utterances and writings may be made with almost infinite variety of other purposes, not resting for their value upon the veracity of their out-of-court declarant, and hence falling outside the hearsay classification. Yeah, it's fucking anyway. So the matter here proffered that Chatterton's remarks were not being offered for the truth of the matter asserted therein, but to show the effect they had on Myers. So they went around the back door on that one. So they ended up calling these remarks admissible on the basis that it's to place Myers' responsive conduct in context. Mm-hmm. That is some legal fucking hair splitting right there. Is what that is. That's legal hair splitting. It wasn't meant. We're not entering this to prove that he killed. Just because they were saying during this conversation that they killed a woman, that's not what we're proving. We're just proving what his reaction was to this. We're putting it
to the news of this. Yeah,
it's just for context. It's just for context, which is wild because in that statement
of it is we murdered somebody together.
Yeah. Okay, so it says Chatterton's remarks concerning the need to eliminate Tina as a witness were admissible to show Myers' reactions to the assertions. By nodding in the affirmative, Myers adopted Chatterton's remarks as his own. A declaration by an accused that he intends to intimidate or procure the absence from the trial of a state's witness is admissible as evidence of the accused's guilt. So they went right around hearsay. That's fine. Tina's testimony is the fun part. Okay. First of all, let's talk about how the paper describes her, because they have a fucking field day with her, boy. Oh, my God. Here we go. Quote, Madame Marco, because now her last name is back to her other married last name, which is Marco. Madame Marco wore a black knit suit of light wool with delicate white braids at the cuff, collar, and hem. She wore a lovely pleated peach blouse and black boots with spike heels, and she was adorned, testimony disclosed, with $8,700 worth of gold, diamonds, and sapphires, all gifts from the man she was now fingering for murder. I had to put fingering in there.
Yeah, they did.
The courtroom lighting was exquisite, almost theatrical yesterday. 2 ceiling lamps were trained directly on Tina's handsomely trimmed auburn hair. The jewelry glittered. The round earrings danced. She slung a fox boa over the witness stand, or chewed juicy fruit, or filed her nails. Madame Marco could not have played the part of conniving dame more convincingly. She pouted, giggled, and batted her eyelashes, dropping her head, raising her head, pursed her lips, looked severe, adjusted her skirt, crossed her legs, clasped her hands.
She did all these her nails.
Outside of the filing her nails, they just described a bunch of people things she did. She looked around, she adjusted her clothes, she crossed her legs, clasped her hands. That's what human beings do. She was doing this weird thing. Her chest kept going up and down. Breathing, that's what it's called. Yeah, in and out. It's so stupid.
I can't believe she filed her nails on the stand. That's fascinating.
In between, when there's like a sidebar or something, they're up there for 10 minutes sometimes. Yeah,
I couldn't give a fuck about this.
Nope.
This does not affect me.
Me and my fur coat are going to go somewhere else. It says, quote, she spoke in an earthy candlelight voice, the kind of voice heard across 1,000 nights in smoky bars. All was proffered, of course, in an effort to convict Robert Lee Myers of murder and to save her own soft white skin. They go on to say, this is the Evening Sun, by the way, Baltimore. Not once did she glance at the formerly chunky man who now looks like a withered Rod McEwen. I don't know who the fuck that is.
Rod McEwen is an actor, isn't he?
I don't know. Who he is. Rod McEwen. I don't know. Who looks like a withered Rod McEwen in a frumpy checked jacket and wrinkled chinos. He's dressing like a used car salesman as well. Not chunky anymore, though.
They describe her like fucking Rebecca De Mornay. Jesus.
Oh, absolutely. They're describing her like some sort of glamour thing, and he's just like a chunky, fat used car salesman who's like skinny from jail. It says she did not once did she glance at him. No, Tina only looked when the prosecutor, Thomas Hickman, asked the question all prosecutors love to ask their star witnesses just before concluding the direct examination. Do you see the man you've been referring to in this room today? Quote, then there was kind of a breathless drama the spectators in Judge Luke Barnes' snug courtroom have known only from afternoons with one life to live and all my children. Tina washed her moment under the lights and soap. She pulled her plump, pouty face up and raised her right hand and brushed it toward Robert Lee Myers. The blonde-haired gentleman, she said. And then Tina sighed heavily and deeply and painfully. Oh, my God. They said
dramatic.
The gold wristwatch, estimated to be worth $3,200, twinkled beneath the ceiling lamps. That's what she's wearing. They said, quote, Tina Marco has large eyes that appear to have seen everything and to be bored by most of it. At times, her meticulously shaped brows whip up high. Her nose turns up a little. Her chin is a nub at the bottom of a round, wide face that by candlelight might be considered not bad looking. Oh. Yikes. That was cold.
That's not nice.
They said if it's super dark and there's just one dim flickering light, I guess you could consider that attractive. That not even attractive, not bad looking.
Not bad looking.
What the fuck, man? You know what though? She got off on she got no charge.
Yeah.
That's what you got. You got everyone's going to make fun of your dipshit ass in the paper for how you look and for how you do anything cuz you're not going to jail. There is not a single hard angle on her body. In other words, she's
round. Yeah.
She's a little roundish. Madame Marco often displayed an appreciation for the finer things in life. She testified to having had a sitting room in the Myers house converted into a large walk-in cedar closet.
Oh, cedar.
Cedar. She kept her furs, jewelry, and Robert Myers' gun collection locked in the closet. Remember in Overboard, Goldie Hawn said, Oak, are you stupid? Everybody knows closets are made of cedar.
Right, that's where I went.
She's fucking Overboard. She turned into Goldie Hawn and Overboard. Roy.
She's a chubby Goldie.
Oh, my God. She said, and there were times, Tina said, when she'd go into the spacious closet and sit at my desk and look out. Here was a woman whose idea of getting away from it all was sitting in a closet full of furs, guns, and diamonds. That's the quote. Yesterday, she wore 2 rings, one valued at $1,175, the other at $4,325. At the request of the defense attorney, Anton Keating, she held them up for the jury to see, and she did not seem embarrassed by the display. The jewels had come from Robert Lee Myers. She said, quote, it was a monthly thing, almost a weekly thing. He'd buy her jewelry. So the attorney asked, you're very fond of jewelry? And she said, most women are.
Yeah.
Quote, then this is great from the paper, quote, oh, this is about her. Oh, Mary Ruth hadn't done much with the house, Tina said. The walls were bare. This is what she's testifying to. The walls are bare. That's why she had to decorate it. The walls are bare. The furniture would never make house beautiful, and the china was sort of cheap. And Mary Ruth had, quote, a lot of costume jewelry. I couldn't even wear a dead woman's jewelry because it was fake. I had to get real shit.
All this bullshit.
Mary Ruth didn't have much in the way of clothes either, Tina said. Mm-hmm. So she, quote, bagged them and gave them to some friends.
Unreal.
Wow, that is fucked up. She also says she hopes to make more than $250,000 by telling her version of the murder conspiracy that could send her husband to the gas chamber. Whoa.
She's as cold as the fucking author of this story.
Fucking A. Her revelation came during cross-examination on the second day of her testimony against her husband, blah, blah, blah. Wow. Marco, who's been granted immunity from first-degree murder charges in exchange for her testimony, said her lawyer has been negotiating with publishers for rights to a book she said she's been working on since shortly after the killing of Mary Ruth Myers. She said the lawyer, Philip Sutley, estimated it's still that guy. He's in for this, too. Yeah. That guy should be fucking disbarred. Jesus Christ. Asshole. I don't know if that's true or not, but in my opinion, he should be disbarred. This is gross. He estimated that the publisher could pay as much as $250,000 for that book. And she said she's also negotiating for appearances on television shows such as the Phil Donahue program, Good Morning America, and People Are Talking. I don't know what that one is.
Very local, I imagine.
When defense attorney Anton Keating suggested she was trying to exploit as much money as possible from the murder, she turned and frowned at him. Quote, I have 4 children to feed. I would like to get my life sorted out, Mr. Keating. It takes money to sort out your life. Well, 2 years ago, you lived in a fucking boarding house and you got all along fine. So this is crazy. He also, the lawyer introduced letters Tina wrote that had sketches of 2 jail guards and a chaplain leading a man to the gas chamber. Mm. Quote, it was a joke about Mr. Myers, is what the lawyer said. He said, don't you think that's callous? And she said, quote, callous? No, I don't. She said, but I have to detach myself. Yeah, you have to detach myself. She said, and the lawyer said, but you have to look out for yourself. And she said, someone has to.
Well, now he's going to jail, so
the prosecutor did.
Right.
He certainly looked out for you. Then they asked her, do you still love Robert Lee Myers? Quote, then another long, breathless pause. I'm not sure, she sighed, as the gold earrings danced and as she shook her head and pressed it against her hand. They love having her do this shit, man. This is crazy. And it gets better. In other testimony in the Carroll County Circuit Courtroom trial, Marco said she has become romantically involved with a 24-year-old Garrett County deputy sheriff who was guarding her while she stayed in the Garrett County lockup earlier this fall.
Filthy.
Unfucking real. Quote, his name is Roger White, she said with a smile. Marco read from a letter she wrote while staying in the jail. Quote, one deputy has just started flirting with me. He has blonde hair, 6 feet, and a good body. She read it as she broke into giggles. Marco giggled and laughed so loud during much of her testimony. Oh, my God. She regained her composure and discussed her continuing problems in 1979 when she lost and then regained custody of her children. When the children finally moved into the Myers home after she and Myers were married, she said, quote, Bob was a good father. She said that she only decided to turn state's evidence for several reasons. Quote, the first being is that when I sat during the pretrial hearings and heard the testimony of certain witnesses, I felt like I was going to drown with them. Yeah, because you're involved in it.
Right.
The second being that I was pregnant and I had 3 children, and to think I would never be able to touch them again, I was just plain tired of living a lie.
She's vicious, man. What a horrible
Then they said, why did you ever get involved in a murder? And she said, I don't know. I just don't know. Oh, my God. That is fucking wild.
I know why. Because a big house is better than a boarding house.
Yeah, I think so. And she goes on to say, I thought of Dan when he said she needed somebody and blah, blah, blah. So under cross-examination a little more, because she described her acquaintance with Chatterton as, quote, brother-sister relationship.
Right.
But then she later on says that the relationship... It was intimate at one point, but only for a week or two. You know, like you fuck your brother just for like a week or two, and then you stop. You know how everybody does that.
Oh, my God.
So she said that they used to meet in parking lots of the Reisterstown Pantry Pride store where he worked as a floor washer, and he would bang her out in the parking lot.
Yeah.
Yikes. She said she talked to him. She talked to Chatterton while Myers fetched some donuts. Quote, when Bob got back, I sat in the car, and that's when they made the deal for everything. She said that Myers came back to the car, asked for paper so he could write down Mary Ruth's description and address. And she said that, a little while later, that was that. And she heard him say, don't forget to make it look like a robbery and all that shit. She's the one that testifies to the $5,000 and all that kind of crap. So photos come in with her. A quote, on the bottom of the photo of herself dressed in a lace wedding gown, she wrote to Mrs. Horton that she deeply loved Mr. Myers. She identified the photo as me in my wedding gown. She blinked and seemed to wipe away a tear as Mr. Keating read her words. Dear God, please bless this forthcoming marriage till death do us part. Another photo showed the witness with a Bible in her hands, the diamond wedding ring Mr. Myers gave her resting on the book's cover. The wedding photos were not the only snapshots discussed yesterday. Mrs. Myers drew a gasp from the silent, attentive courtroom crowd when she answered yes to a question about whether she ever carried photos of nude men in her wallet.
What?
Apparently, she's just got a bunch of pictures of random nude guys in her wallet that she keeps. Yeah. They said, why do you do that? And she said, yes, I almost always do. I like to look at them.
Well, yeah.
Cool.
Why do I? Because I don't have Instagram yet.
Yeah. There's no such thing as porn fucking hub or whatever the fuck anymore. So, or till then. Yet. It's coming. So, yeah, she, quote, she drew a steady stare from her husband. One of the few times he looked directly at her, which is fucking amazing.
Furious.
When also that's when she admitted too that she had sex with Chatterton. Basically, she talks about the whole thing. She said this is what she was told that how the killing went down. He locked the dog in a bathroom and then went in the family room where he sat in the dark and lit a cigarette. Okay, this is what Chatterton did. Yeah, well, it was the 70s. Everybody smoked in their house. So. She, meaning Mary, came down the hall and called, Bobby, is that you? Bobby, is that you? She said that Mary saw the glow from the cigarette and turned on the lights. And he told her, quote, I'm a friend of Bobby's. She said she didn't expect him that night, and he said he would wait. He just showed up in the house unannounced, sat in the dark smoking, and was like, I'm a friend of your husband's. Well, he's not here right now. I'll wait. Just blowing out. Be like,
I don't know when he'll be back. I'll be here when he does.
Then, quote, he told her it was a nice house and he asked to see the rest of it. He took her by the arm and led her around the house. When they arrived in the den off the master bedroom where a gun cabinet was located, Mr. Chatterton pried open the case with a knife and loaded a .22 caliber pistol and a .22 caliber rifle. He said he walked Mrs. Myers down the steps from the den into the master bedroom. He told her to sit on the bed, and then he looked around. There was a telephone on the dresser, and he ripped the cord out of the wall. She asked what he wanted, and he said that Bob owed him some money. She asked how much, and he told her not to worry, he'd get his money. He asked her to lay down on the bed, and if she believed in God, to pray. That's horrible.
Oh, my God.
At least surprise her. Say, hey, look over there, and then shoot her in the back of the fucking head if you're going to do it. Don't torture somebody.
Tell her to pray.
Then he shot her in the back, and she turned over and said, you're killing me. And he said, that's right, honey, and continued to shoot.
Oh, my God.
Jesus Christ. That is fucking wild. The prosecutor later on says, at the time you met, this is to Tina, at the time you met Chatterton at Pantry Pride and introduced Myers and Chatterton, he said, was drinking going on then? And she said, yes. Prosecutor said, were you all intoxicated? She said, not falling down. I mean, we'd been in much worse shape than that before. So this is because later on they're going to bring up alcohol intoxication as an issue here. So Tina Myers also said that Bobby is not the goody two-shoes that everyone thinks he is. They say, what do you mean by that? She says it wasn't just Mary Ruth that he wanted killed. And she said, why do you say that? She said, quote, because I overheard Dan Chatterton and Bob Myers discussing to kill Corporal Leet and yourself, meaning the prosecutor, and 2 others.
Holy shit.
They're going to kill everybody. At that point, the defense counsel objects, asks for a mistrial. The judge instructs the jury to disregard that testimony. Turns into a circus at that point. Yeah. She talks about that she was living at this point too. During cross-examination, Myers' counsel asked Tina that he wants to talk about the statements that Tina made to Myers that while she was living in Nevada, she'd been involved in or had knowledge of individuals who were taken into the desert and murdered. Mm-hmm. So that ends up coming up. They also come up with her credibility. They talk about her, quote, flim-flam credit card scam in California. Flim-flam artist. Tina admitted that before becoming a state's witness, she deliberately started a false rumor that the state's attorney had asked her several times for a date. Her purpose in doing so was to cause disqualification of the prosecutor. She's told no truths here whatsoever. They bring in the insurance people to talk about the jewelry that was never stolen. They try to bring in some sexual stuff about Bobby, that he was fucking other women around the neighborhood, basically. He's plowing the whole Silver Run at this point, they're saying. Anyway, they got him pretty fucked, even if they don't get her. Verdict comes in, guilty, obviously. He's guilty. Sentencing, they want the death penalty. He said, well, my co-defendant didn't get the death penalty. That seems silly. The prosecutor referred to him as a, quote, cold, cruel, and barbaric man. There's been absolutely no remorse shown by Mr. Myers in this case. He maintained that nothing would have happened to Ruth Myers if Robert Lee Myers had in fact not wanted her dead and all that kind of shit. Yeah. Aggravating factors are it was a money thing, obviously. Mitigating factors are that his co-defendant was sentenced to life in prison, right, and one was sentenced to nothing. One was sentenced to spending his money. The second one was the deal offered to Tina Myers in exchange for her testimony. So the judge comes back, you, sir, may fuck off, life without parole.
Yeah.
So no death penalty thing. That's good. Yeah, it's appropriate. He says that there's going to be an appeal. He says, quote, the jury was wrong. I'm innocent. I did not want Mary Ruth to die. I didn't plan it. I didn't pay for it. He said that he is stunned to learn that Tina was part of the murder. He doesn't even know. He said, quote, I was a fool. I was a fool many times in my life, but I never hurt anybody. You may wonder about my jovial nature. It's based upon my faith that God has determined all things. But I want to thank you, Judge Burns, for the sentence. I feel strongly and believe that you'll do what's with the will of God. And he gives him. There you go. So quickly, appeal is on. They didn't allow the jury instruction of defense of voluntary intoxication. Mm-hmm. They said because the only evidence that there was any intoxication was her saying you were a little tipsy on the night. That's only on the night you gave him the deposit.
Right.
That's not. Yeah, that's not the day of. It's not any of that shit. Another one is there's some juror problem. That's an issue. A very minor jury problem about somebody who felt very strongly about the death penalty. It was one of those deals. Another one here was the assault about they allowed into court the testimony that he choked his stepdaughter that time.
Oh.
So they want that to be thrown out of court here. And they said that basically it was insignificant compared to the pile of evidence against him. Right. It was very insignificant. And the judgment is, quote, affirmed with the costs for court to be paid by him as well.
Oh, ouch.
So, yeah, he got banged, put in the ass right in prison, and also got hit in the wallet on that one.
That's
so
a burner, yeah.
There you go, everybody. She's nothing, and those two are in jail forever.
Wow.
And she's about, 70 years old at this point, and who knows?
Oh,
so
boy. She's been in trouble since then, right? She had to have been.
There's no, well, you know what, though? If she has money, maybe not.
Yeah, maybe not.
Nowadays, when she wants to sit and be happy, she sits in a fucking giant room and looks at her furs and diamonds.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, She got right into that lifestyle. She doesn't need to go out to bars and do all that.
Thriving, just enjoying it.
Thriving. So, I don't know. It's wild. Well, that's Silver Run / Westminster, Maryland.
What a story.
Fucking crazy story, man. These goddamn crazy people. Bigamy and everything else. Naked pictures in a wallet.
Yeah.
Odd. So, anyway, that is that. If you like that story, tell the world about it. Get on whatever app you're listening on and give us 5 stars, please. It helps us so much. It really does. So do that. Also, head over to shutupandgivememurder.com right now, where you can not only get merchandise, you can get the coloring book, you can get, Jesus Christ, the Murder Bird stuff, all sorts of new shit's up all the time. You can also get tickets to live shows. My goodness. Next up is New Orleans and Atlanta in July. Atlanta's been sold out since, 2019. But New Orleans, still some tickets left down there.
Go.
Please get your tickets to New Orleans and come see us. We're excited. Come drive in from somewhere and see us. It's going to be fun.
Let's go play New Orleans together.
Let's do it. Do that right now. Also, you can follow us on social media very easily. Go to shutupandgivememurder.com is the website. Social media, we are at Murder Small on Twitter, at Smalltown Pod on Facebook, at Smalltown Murder on Instagram. You can do that. Also, listen to Crime and Sports while you're checking out all of our stuff. Crime and Sports every Tuesday. Smalltown Murder Express every Friday, of course. Patreon this week is...
Holy shit.
It is overboiling, and patreon.com/crime and sports is where you get all of the good extra stuff. You're going to get it all. You're going to get like 4 episodes a month of very good stuff. We got a whole back catalog full of episodes there that you'll get access to. Anybody $5 or above gets access to everything we put out bonus-wise. And this week, your 2 episodes are going to be, for Crime and Sports, we're going to talk about Doc Ellis, who you definitely don't have to be a sports fan to be interested in this. He threw a no-hitter in baseball while tripping his balls off on acid. That's just interesting. Doesn't matter if you like sports or not. That is very interesting. And he's a really outspoken, funny guy, too. He's a funny, cool guy. And then for Small Town Murders bonus, we are going to talk about the documentary that everyone wants us to talk about, Conversations with a Killer, the John Wayne Gacy tapes. Yeah. And watching it, you know why everybody wants us to talk about it, because it's fucking interesting as shit. And
it's really it's riveting. Yeah, it's riveting.
It's wild. So we'll talk about all of that and so much more on Patreon there, patreon.com/crime and sports. Or if you just want to make a donation and get your name heard at the end of the show, well, maybe you'll understand what name it is, or maybe Jimmie will say it so poorly you won't know what it is. But you can do that at PayPal also using our email address, crimeandsports@gmail.com. That said, Jimmie, I need to hear it. Rain down upon me with the people who are my favorite damn people on earth. Hit me with them, Jimmie.
This week's executive producers are Isaac Moya, who loves New Mexico.
Wow.
Evidently, it's an
He's the one.
place.
He's the guy. One.
He wants me to tell him that it's okay. It's only okay that it's just part of the United States. That's the only thing that's okay about it.
It's not good, dude. Sorry. We're happy you're happy.
Good for you, Isaac. Yeah. Enjoy it. Becky and Junior Holt in Hawaii. Nilu Rosvanjani. I said it right. Yeah. I mixed the S and F.
We know her.
Damn it. Katie Sicignano.
Exactly. Fucking Italian names. He hates
Siciliano. Jordan Bennett and Christopher McGrath. Thank you guys truly for everything you did for us.
Thank you. Absolutely.
You're doing amazing work. Thank you. Other producers are Jennifer Meager, Liz Vasquez, Joey Pepperoni Nips, Carl Kirshner, Peyton Meadows, Jude Kendall, Dr. Michael Ferrer, Dean Campese. The Italian Tank is what he is. Lydia Bunner, I think. Janice Hill, Frank the South African Birdwasher, Zach Westfalls, Faith McLean, Amy Mink Schultz, Mackenzie Sharps, Firstly Serenity, Christy Bennett, John Lagana, Jordan Ecker, Tony Harris, Mike with no last name, Mike Bailey Painter, Kevin Browning, Andy Muhlinger, David Wesley, Alexandria Whitley, Brad Villa, Chad Davis, Darian Reyes, I think, Search Nozelg, what? No, that's not right. Ellen Winder, Tabby with no last name, T. Lars, Kelly Hubbard, Alexandra Zenkner, Kelsey with no last name, Goopy Goop, Craig C. Rennie, Danielle with no last name, Jackie Cobb, Jennifer Talbert, no name at all. Somebody with no name whatsoever. Amanda Agnello, Amy Heller, Esmeralda Gonzalez, J.C. Davis, Amy with no last name, Josephine Bernardson, I think, Sally Steffens, Sean with no last name, KevBot 2021. Ezra DeHogue, Cats, Skialababa.
Yeah, you got paranoid there.
Craig Bratton, Robbie Buckmeyer, Jasper Miller, Mark Forward, Lynn Pearsall, Joe Trompen, Olivia Long, Selena Deviere, Shane with no last name, Sean Jones, Kimberly Mobley, Adrian Torres, Rob McGregor, Christy Ray Suarez, Anne-Marie Wilt, Patrick Gaumont, Vanessa Alcorta, Justin Dibble, Hannah Temple, Jordan Wallach, Kevin Graham, Elvis Lopez, Danielle Clifford,
Elvis.
Trevor with no last name, Nick Marshall, Kate from Royal Turnbridge Wells. I imagine that's in England.
Wow, yes,
Evan
definitely.
Beck, Anna Yu, Yasmin Humphrey. Whoops, that's no Y. Julie Helm, JZ96, Scott Fuchs, Claudia Katrosh, Tim Shields, probably not. Jeff Mazariegos, Jesus. Shane Alexander.
Greeks got you too now? Jesus.
I don't know. Shannon Sander, Gremlin
Jimmy
with
hates
no last
the Mediterranean.
Sorry. That whole goddamn
fucking
what do
region.
They call that? Yeah, that area.
We'll go
Leslie
with
Gremlin with no last name. Leslie Irwi, Kyle Goslin. Crystal Turberger, oh boy. Ball Chin Ian, I don't know, that's probably not true. Julia with no last name. James LaFontaine, Diane Johnson, Jenny K. Darnell Swallow, Jesus Christ. William Robertson, Mary Renelt, Chris Helm, Julie Strong, Josh Hill, Cassandra Rupel, Logan Townsend, Alec Hitterman, Barry Missiel, Chris Mackey, Kevin Slayton, Juliet Salater, Melissa Andres, R with no last name, Jarrell Arnott, Natasha Kinshaw, Keith Bylan, I think, Felix Ivy, Raquel Wakefield, Monique Staple, Sarah Schuster, and all of our patrons. You guys are amazing. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everybody, for all that you do for us. Honestly, we can't tell you how much we appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you. And if you want to find us and thank us or say anything to us on social media, very easy to do that. You can go to shutupandgivememurder.com. There are links to everything right there. Or just Google search Small Town Murder podcast hosts. What do you think? How many of us do you think there are? I hope there's just us, or else
2.
Someone needs a kick in the dick otherwise. So that said, thank you so much for joining us. Like we said, get your tickets for those live shows. And Jesus Christ, we'll see you on Friday. Then we'll see you next week. Until next week, everybody, it's been our pleasure.
Bye.
If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
Have you ever gotten a message out of the blue? Maybe you ignore them. Or maybe you end up in conversation. Maybe they tell you about an amazing offer. I can really show you how to make some money. And maybe that gets you into a lot of trouble. But this isn't a story about people like you, the people receiving these messages. This is a story about the people behind the messages, on the other end of the line. Thousands of them, working in a micro-city built for scammers. From Wondery, the makers of Dr. Death and Kill List, comes Scam Factory, a new series about survival at the expense of others. Follow Scam Factory on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to Scam Factory early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts.